right, welcome to another episode of the Puff Puff Hour, a Dragon Quest podcast. I am your host, Caleb Craig.
And I'm your host, Dylan Rominger.
And I'm your most important host, Jacob Wright.
You fucking wish. All right, so today we're going to be reviewing, finally, Dragon Quest IV.
Long awaited.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Long awaited.
Took someone like 2 months after I beat it to beat it.
Well,
man.
In his small defense,
Small defense,
we had no idea how far you were actually into this until you just said, hey, I beat it. I'm like, whoa, okay, I better hop on it too.
Well, you know, that's true.
But then the difference between
he
me and...
also did beat one more game than me as we're competing for some reason for the hog on Nude Clan. So.
I did have
you
some
peons nowhere near me.
some different goals aside from beating Dragon Quest IV, which I accomplished. Thank you.
Yeah, your platinums? Is that what you're
The
referring to?
platinums and the games beaten at the end of the year after that Dragon Quest builder.
Yeah, the fucking like 3 games you beat in one day, like on the last day possible.
I've
Came out of fucking nowhere.
It was 2 on one day and then 1 in the morning of like the last day. And then I submitted the Super Hog stuff.
Okay.
The slippery slope has been achieved through Hogib and through everybody counting things with credits. It literally will take somebody one day at the end of the year to go through the Sega Ultimate Master Collection on PS3 and beat 40 games in one day. So it's a slippery slope.
That would be sick.
That's an easy
Although
platinum.
that would be like the greatest thing to piss Weiss off.
You should do it.
I might do it.
Oh man,
Like last week.
I just don't beat any games this year, just like hardly any, and then right at the end, just like shoot up.
Well,
like,
that was
40
what you was going to
games.
do with the Telltale, right? So,
I was gonna do that, yeah, but it was only like 5 games. So
all right. So yeah, check out Nude Clan. Sometimes there's video game reviews, but most of the time it's a Joe's therapy hour.
yeah,
They've had a lot
I'm the
lately,
co-host
though.
there.
Surprisingly.
Other people beating games, yeah.
We've had some more reviews, yeah. Also check out UFF or Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am on it occasionally.
Yes, the house that built everything that we see here. It's the reason why
basically.
everything exists. So give it props and support it if you want to.
All right. So, do we have a question that you asked on Facebook, Jake?
Yes, I did.
All right.
And it was, what is your favorite Dragon Quest IV character?
Dragon Quest IV character?
Yes.
Okay. What did people say?
Some of the responses was Disa Oakland saying, good question. Need to think. So her answer is down here further.
Oh, so no
Sean-
answer. Okay.
Yep. Sean Pendergrass says Pissarro, Tornico, and Ragnar. Alina is my favorite in battles. Highest speed and best chance at landing critical hits.
Yeah.
Jacob Bathe says Tornico for sure. His ability to check how many cheats are on
Chess,
chests.
I think.
Yeah,
Cheats.
chess. My bad.
many cheats?
Are on a level to make monsters attack,
He's a
or
coder.
nice quality of life changes to grinding. His chapter was the most interesting too. He is right. It was cool to have a down-to-earth plot for a character. Matt Madsen says Alina and Christo, whatever he's called now, power for her, and he's like a paladin, an all-around team member. Disa Oakland responds with, I will go with Tornico.
Yeah, Tornado was pretty sweet.
So before we get into the start of the episode here, what was everybody's favorite character?
That's a tough one.
I like Ragnar. Ragnar and Tornico are my 2 favorites.
Yeah, I
would
think
say.
I'll agree with you on that one. Ragnar's backstory was, well, not backstory, but like the chapter was really good. I enjoyed the story of that one with the little kids.
Yeah, it
And
was
the
kind of
Healy-
odd. Yeah,
the
and
Healy partner was awesome.
Yeah.
And Tornico was a fun one. I abused one of the mechanics from that one. To
Oh, yeah. We're gonna do that. I
help
did
me in
too.
the game. So
Yeah, I wish I had done that. Yeah, Tornico had a really interesting chapter, one that like doesn't that you don't really see in games like at all, really.
I've
No,
never seen
not
anything
really.
like it.
Yeah,
But it would be Ragnar, motherfucking McRyan.
yeah, dude.
Great
Guy
fucking
is a
name.
beast.
And Alina. I liked Alina a lot.
Why?
Yeah, she was pretty good.
Why?
Why?
Yeah,
She was useful in battle.
Very useful in battle.
That's true.
and isn't a freaking Mary Sue. That's exactly why. She's actually got character depth.
She's kind of a stereotype, though, I think. Spoiled princess.
But was she really spoiled?
I got that
Yeah.
vibe.
She
She was
got completely locked in her goddamn
pretty-
room and wasn't allowed to leave. Come on.
She had bodyguards, too.
She had
Personal
No, she
bodyguards.
tried-
bodyguards.
Getting away from the bodyguards. It ain't my fault they're stalking her. They got something for her, man. Krill
Dude,
and Booyah, or
she's-
whatever the fuck his name
Her
was.
dad treated her
Borea.
like she was the fucking Joker, dude. She had a way out of Arkham Asylum, like, planned all the time. Like, that's part
So-
of her chapter is breaking out. Like,
Yeah.
that's literally a thing that she consistently apparently does.
Yeah.
So
So how
I
is she
mean,
spoiled? She's obviously oppressed in her mind. In her mind, clearly. The king is just trying to keep her safe, but she's not spoiled. If she was spoiled, he'd bring her to the fucking tournament later on and be like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to give you a fucking horse and a carriage and we're going to ride there together. And I'm going to buy your way into winning the tournament.
Well,
that would be fucking
She
privilege.
did have to earn it.
White princess privilege.
But, like, she was going to do what she was going
a
to do
white
anyway.
Russian privilege.
Like,
Yes.
she'd already gotten
White-
out.
White princess privilege.
Wait, Russian.
White
princess
PP.
privilege.
White PP.
Do you think that was the setting, Russia, for that one?
Soviet
Yeah,
Russia.
dude, are you kidding me? The dude is the king was a Tsar. Like that's
Okay.
Sorry,
I don't remember that chapter as well as the other ones.
okay. Yeah, like they have like a weird Russian
because the
kind of
early
thing going
chapters
on.
for you were months ago, and then boom, the rest of the
They
game
were
hits.
pretty spaced out.
Yeah.
Except the last two chapters. I was really rushing to get those done for today.
Yeah.
But I did it.
Right.
All right, you got some
Spoiler.
development for the game. Let's just
I
get
would
started on this
discuss
fucking
that.
thing.
Thank you for the feedback pertaining to the survey that Dylan put out there.
We got some good feedback on that
You did
one.
do a survey.
Yeah, we got some good results there, and
Yeah.
somebody decided that a Patreon goal was going to be me cutting my beautiful long hair, which you see in the logo. you see the waving locks in our logo, and that somebody decided that I should cut them for a $50 goal.
I don't know. if
And
I
I
necessarily
believe-
disagree.
I thought it
I
was an
believe
interesting tier.
This
anyway.
is a fellow co-host on New Clan of Craig's that has hair envy
Hey,
because he
hey,
is going bald
we don't know
before
it.
the age of 30,
We
and
don't
he's
know
got
it
hair envy.
twice. We don't know it twice.
We could figure it out though.
We could, but he did seem to not know about it when I messaged him earlier.
He did take responsibility for it. Like he claimed it came from him.
He did?
I thought that's what you told me.
Oh no. Okay, so basically, I told him that somebody had asked that be like made a Patreon goal for us,
Yeah.
and his response
liked it.
Yeah, his response
Oh,
is
okay.
basically that he enjoyed the idea and that the hair should be donated to him. and then
So-
I,
Oh, okay,
and
wait,
then I
wait,
made
wait,
the-
wait.
on the
and then I
wall.
made the epic return of locks for Schweiss.
Okay. So what I'm getting from that message isn't me spreading hate to Twice. He's endeared for my hair because he needs it.
Yeah, he needs it.
Think of
Okay,
it
it's
as
not
like
negative. It's
It's like a charity.
it's a charity event.
Rogaine just isn't working anymore.
Has it ever?
I don't know. To be,
never
to be
looked into
completely
it.
honest, I have never had hair loss, so I have never tried Rogaine. I
Coming
can't tell
soon
you.
is the Patreon goal for spray cans.
Well,
It
you
will
know,
fill the spot.
We could do that for a tier level.
I suggest
Paint the
a
slice.
reworking of cutting Jake's hair to be like every $50 we cut off an inch.
Hey, if people are really dedicated to it, I mean,
How about for every
That's a lot of
$100
money.
you cut off an inch, Craig? If you know what I mean.
Uh,
an inch
Man,
of
I ain't
what?
cutting my hair.
yeah, an inch of what?
Exactly. Oh God, never mind.
No,
Craig.
you're gonna have to explain.
Yeah, where are you going?
Is
with
there an
this?
inch there to give, Greg?
Okay, that's where I thought you
no.
were going.
Okay. All right.
I don't
thank
get
you
what
for
you're.
the
I don't know where you're
feedback.
going with
followers.
this.
We
Yeah.
are currently working on our Patreon and its
Yeah.
tiers, and there may
Yeah.
be a few side games
We
and
got a good idea of
the
where we're gonna go.
animes that there will be good tiers for. I think we decided that Tornico would probably
Do you know how many anime there
Two.
are? There's two?
There's two.
How
And
many episodes
they're like, I don't know, 26 or so.
for each?
Yeah.
That's
But
not too
only
bad. Okay.
one
I
has
thought
been.
they were like one of those special ones. So there's only like 4 episodes.
And I think
Oh,
there's
okay.
like a side
the
movie to
Pokemon
one of
one.
them too.
yeah, like the fucking
Oh, that one
Pokemon
was
one.
awesome.
It requires so many more episodes.
And I think there's like a side one that was a adaptation of the manga. It's like 40 minutes, kind of like a OVA thing.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably like they made one for like Final Fantasy V, and I watched it, and it was weird.
It's weird, but
they made butts look like a bodybuilder, dude.
right.
Like it was fucking weird. That's like not.
It is
what,
weird,
It's not what you imagine when you see butts.
Legend of the Crystals is not that bad in retrospect. It is not that bad compared to the other FF movies. It's number 2. Like, we don't want to get sidetracked, but clearly it is Spirits Within,
Yeah,
Legend of the
not-
Crystals,
I'm not following.
and
this.
we're not even counting Kingslave and
I
Advent
doubt that
Children.
you've
as-
seen
Anyway.
it's really hard to find the
But
Final
I
Fantasy
believe
V movie
the
thing.
like first half of the episodes of the first series were English dubbed, and the
for
rest,
the Dragon Quest one for the first
for
one.
the Dragon Quest one, and the rest is nothing but pure Japanese.
We can just like
Ooh,
make
that's
up,
gonna be some
we
hard.
we can do
commentary.
hard subs. Hard subs, I think, would exist.
or we can just like make it up. That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
interesting.
That would be okay. Yeah, that would be great.
Currently
Like
coming
this-
is Mystery Science Theater episodes of Puff Puff Hour. Yes.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
no,
we could do
we'd
that.
literally have to like watch. We would watch the first half of the show in English, so we would kind of know what the setting is, and then we would just have to fill in the fucking blanks.
I would do that. That sounds interesting.
Sounds like a great idea.
It took a strange turn, but I think that's an interesting
okay,
idea.
so is the second anime like in pure Japanese?
I
or
believe
is-
so.
Okay, we're gonna have to find some subs for that one.
Yeah.
and if we
will.
can't, then we're just gonna make them up.
Yeah.
from the very
Great.
beginning. Oh, that's gonna be rough.
Great Patreon ideas there. And then the store from T Public should be up soon. We shall see. We left it in somebody else's hands for now. So
Yeah. Bad
there's
idea.
no requirement to support the show, but I think the Patreon page that is being made is at least worth a look at because you'll laugh at the names and ideas of the tiers. Because there may or may not be an idea for your mama, which is a running joke between me and Greg.
Dude, it is a great joke. I don't
Okay,
know what your problem
whatever
is.
he's saying.
It depends on the context, I think.
Yes, it is widely
a
used
classic.
as a
It is a
universal go-to, which is maybe if a random situation applies to it and nobody sees it coming, it could work. But when every single response from Craig is your mom, it gets old pretty quick.
Well, it's
Your
just-
mom gets old pretty quick.
Exactly. There
it's
you
a
go.
good filler joke, I would say.
Oh, that's good. It's
Yeah.
good. I love it.
That was a good one. That was a good utilization of your mom.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So sad. Oh, I love it.
All right. Are you ready to officially get into the review, gentlemen? Development. I didn't find much, but according to Yuji Horii, he wanted to have something the player went around collecting as the previous Dragon Quest games had crests and orbs, respectively. You did a lot of collecting of specific items just to progress in the story. But he did not want to do the same thing over and over again by forcing the player to collect a certain number of items before they beat the game.
All right. That's fair.
So I noticed that everything else really wasn't a requirement until you reached like the main part of the game in chapter 5
Yeah.
to where you had to grab the Zenith equipment. And that was pretty much it.
That wasn't a big deal either.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it was pretty straightforward to get the stuff.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a lot more
you
streamlined.
know exactly where you have to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not bad. All right, so the beginning of this game starts out with a prologue of the hero doing some sword practicing in the town cellar.
If if
what?
you get the awesome editions.
The awesome edition. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
the
get.
awesome
Okay, so
editions.
the PlayStation 1 and the DS 1 were the only ones that had this.
Right.
The Super Nintendo one did not. So basically, sword practicing in the cellar. Then a frog hops out and he's surprised, and it turns out that it was his friend who had used a morph spell. And then he goes back home, finds his parents
Elsa.
fighting, and they talk about him or her leaving the town one day.
Yeah, you can actually decide which sex you could be.
Yeah,
In this
there's a
Dragon
male
Quest,
or female in
which
this
is cool.
one.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they're basically sitting there, oh, one day you might have to leave. Like, okay. That was
Yeah.
kind of bizarre, but
So is it the same? Like if you pick the girl, the relationship with the other friend in the town? I think her name is Eliza.
I don't know. I went male.
Well, that's something that
That's how I
probably
that's
could
how
be
I
looked into.
identify
It
Dylan.
probably
So
is, which is why that's kind of weird.
Well, it's weird. Like then, it's unusual. I would say, not weird
It's
for a video game
It might be a
at
little
that
weird.
time period.
Okay, so
progressive.
the beginning happens at Birdland Palace. King Bernard pulls in the great Ragnar McRyan to solve a case for him. There's a bunch of missing children. And McRyan sets out to go find out what's going on. He goes through one of the caves and finds
oh no,
a
the
heel
orphans!
slime.
The orphans!
Yep, he goes to find a heel slime that helps him out. Finds these magic shoes that teleport him to a tower where
yeah.
all the children are being kept by
Yeah.
Sorrow's little dudes, his
It's-
pawns, basically.
Instead of a boat, magic shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I thought that was
Creative.
fucking weird, but
It's
it's
creative.
awesome at the same time.
Wasn't
like-
it Teleria? The magical shoes were named Teleria. I'm like, what the fuck is this an item? And then I figure out what it is. I'm like, oh, it's shoes.
Yeah, and it like clicks the heels together and
Yes.
it gets teleported to a fucking tower. It's like,
It's like the Wizard
Okay.
of Oz.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz in Dragon Quest. All right.
Where the
all right,
fuck's
I can
the
see
yellow
this.
brick road?
You know, I
Oh,
think
there it is.
Dragon Quest is like the only series that can just do that. It can just do that. And then you're like, okay, I guess that's fine. We'll just accept it.
It makes about as much sense as finding like an octopus type thing that heals you in a cave.
It's
Some
true.
random
the
cave.
heel slime that also speaks.
And he stays with you in your party until
Yeah.
the chapter
yeah,
ends.
he wants to be a human. What's
That's
up
awesome.
with that?
Yeah, Healy
That's
is
awesome.
sweet. And so yeah, he defeats the pawn, and then returns the children, and then he asks the king to leave to seek out and protect the hero, because the monsters are trying to find a certain child that is prophesied basically to defeat the monster lord.
Yeah.
And then chapter 2 starts. Opens with the Princess Elena. She's being scolded by her dad because she wants to go and compete in the tournament on Endor.
Yeah, see,
With
so I
the,
don't think she's privileged.
On the moon planet of Endor with the
Yes, I know.
fucking Ewoks. Yeah, so she wants to go compete in this tournament, and in her room you find a wall that you can kick down and to leave the palace, and then her
Mr.
bodyguards.
Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Yeah, yeah, and then her
And then just drops off the back end of it.
her bodyguard and like her teacher, I guess, Boira. I can't
Boira?
remember exactly what his job was.
I don't either. He's a useless character.
Local
Um,
healer.
I think
he's
he
a
was.
spiritual
I think he was
leader.
like he was your teacher or some shit. Catches up with them, and then they go to a village where someone is demanding a sacrifice, or like a young woman is a sacrifice. So she takes the place of whoever they had picked, and then they go and defeat them and obtain the armlet of transmutation, and then they find out that something has happened to her father, so he can't speak anymore. Then they go find the guy who had previously had that happen, and he had gotten his muteness fixed.
Yeah. how
and
about
he-
that name?
Which name?
It is Joseph Starling.
Oh yeah, Joseph Starling.
Yeah.
The
Clever
the
play on
bard.
words there.
So Joseph tells them that they need to climb this tower and obtain the vial of nectar to be able to to cure her father. So then they go and find Oopsie and Daisy.
Yes.
God damn it.
More reference humor. Wordplay.
who leave quickly.
It's
dropping,
hilarious. You're like groaning for it. I think it's awesome.
It's like peppered throughout the game too.
Every
I know,
instance.
it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It wouldn't be that bad if it was now and then, but it's literally strewn throughout this game. So yeah, they drop a vial of nectar, so they go to cure her father, who then allows her to compete in the tournament. Once they get there, the king has promised his daughter's hand in marriage to the person who wins. He feels like he's made a mistake in that, and so he asks her to win the tournament for him.
Because
And then they also learn about Sorrow the Manslayer, the king of the monsters, and so they go and set out to defeat him as well.
Yeah. What I found weird, I guess since it was with the times, but you think about it now, that the king thinks that just because a woman wins the tournament, that the marriage is null and void. I wouldn't allow that to happen. Alina still has to marry that princess.
Oh, more progressive concepts.
Ooh.
Or the runner-up could have had the privilege. So
well, apparently, Alina's already too privileged.
Well, no, she was going to fight Sorrow to obtain her hand or whatever, and Sorrow never showed up, so she just won by default. So
who took second then?
Anticlimactic.
She also took second. I don't know.
And third and fourth.
Yeah, there's like no other people. So
everybody else is fucking dead.
Yeah.
Not dead.
Yeah, they're not dead. It's
Knocked
just
out.
knocked out.
No, they're dead. They're totally dead.
They
Although
might be.
in this version, they did spare the one guy, Princess or King Duke Leon or whatever his name was.
The Marquise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the other section later on that in the original NES version, the Marquise actually dies. But in PlayStation and the DS version, he lives. He's knocked down. He's fine.
He just forgets that he was a monster.
Yeah,
I feel like it
somehow.
was more of a possession type thing.
Yeah, they made it like a possession type thing,
Yeah.
but he still totally died.
Yeah, the monster.
And then they're just like, it's fine. His body healed instantly as the ghost thing was gone. It's cool.
They
It's
slaughtered
fine.
his monster body, but his human body was fine.
Yeah, basically.
It's Dragon Quest logic.
Chapter 3 opens up with Tornico. Yes. Being awakened by his wife, Tessie. Within the village,
Good
he
old
speaks
Tessie.
to the innkeeper who lets him know that about the steel strongbox. Because he is he helps behind the shop with the owner, and he is literally day to day just standing there selling fucking items and weapons.
That was pretty brutal to do that.
I didn't find it brutal.
It was so boring. Just push A through the whole thing.
I thought it was unique. I guess it could be a little boring.
You play as an
at times.
NPC.
Yeah, he plays an NPC.
I just hit yes. Like when they would sell stuff, just hit yes.
There was this really rare weapon that you
Yeah.
can obtain, but ended up costing like 100,000 in the fucking casino, which I never got
I did get that.
because
one.
nobody has that amount to grind 10 million fucking goddamn gold pieces. Because it's 100 per fucking casino coin, 100 fucking gold.
Took a long time to get that one.
Yeah,
You actually did it.
The Falcon or Falcon, something like that.
Falcon Blade
Yeah.
from all the other previous Dragon Quests.
Yeah, lets you strike twice.
Jesus Christ.
It was a brutal grind, but I got it.
I bet that was awesome.
It was awesome. It helped a lot.
Especially with that oop spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're told about a steel strongbox. And so you end up going to a cave to obtain it. But unless you did quite a bit of grinding before going outside, it can be rough. Like,
in
I would
Tornico.
say do a little bit of grinding before you actually get into the cave. Because the beginning part of Tornico, his ass will get tore up before you even get into the cave. So make sure that you had personally bought yourself better weapons after doing your trading inside of there.
Right.
So after getting the steel strongbox, in another town, King Seamus is preparing to start a war against Endor, the planet Endor, but is frustrated by a broken
Moon of
bridge.
Endor.
The king has called on Archie Otek
Oh yeah. Fucking hell, dude.
and help rebuilding
These
the bridge.
pun names are just. God damn it, dude.
That one wasn't as good as the other ones.
No,
No, that one
this
was not
one is
good.
way more of a stretch. It's like
Yeah.
such bad. I mean, it's not really bad translation because I'm sure that he made it such a huge pun there too. But
It was
God.
deliberate. It was not bad. It's deliberate.
Archie
In the-
Tech.
But you end up getting the use of a dog, Fido, like to be able to go and turn the. You have a fox there in Region Heart that you're trying to like expose, and so you use the dog to expose him, and then it breaks the binds that are on Archeotech in order to free him and get him to.
Yeah, because he's like stuck in an illusion.
Yeah. He then calls off the war effort, reasoning that you end up going to the other town and you end up talking to the prince, who's like, hey, here's my love letter. Go do my fucking work and give the love letter
Yeah,
to
he's
the
like,
princess.
Meet me outside later tonight.
And you're like, what are you implying here?
Yeah.
So he ends up giving you a love letter to go bring back to the king, the princess, actually. But then
To the king.
it's given to the king.
To the
No.
king.
Because, the king even reads about it and says, you know what? I can actually take over the kingdoms
Yeah.
by marriage, through marriage.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
They were on the brink of war.
blood lineage, it's totally Game of Thrones. Like, that's how I'll take the throne, is
Yeah.
through a marriage through kids.
It's the red wedding.
And get it is the red wedding to where
But like the happy ending of that one.
the happy ending of the red wedding.
That's what the red wedding was inspired by, actually.
So he'll be able to avoid bloodshed.
Yeah.
When it is done, King Norman repays the favor and grants Tornico a license to open a shop in Endor. Like, oh wow, here's your work permits, man. Like the city approves of you being able to build a
It
shop.
takes a lot to be able to build a shop there. You got to save the kingdom from war.
Yeah, dude. He proved himself though.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what all those other shopkeepers did.
Probably just various other wars or potential
Yes.
wars.
So many wars stopped by these shopkeepers.
So they're essentially war heroes. Every single innkeeper, shopkeeper, anything else, they're all war heroes.
secretly,
They're all
they
part of the effort.
They all start the war just to get their shop in the first place.
Sounds like our military in the first place, right there.
It's like a conspiracy theory.
Oh no!
Dun dun.
But after the king puts in a request, right, asking for like 6 suits of armor and 6 sets of swords because for some goddamn reason, the castle. I remember this. Yeah, the castle does not have any fucking equipment in it. So the king asks you to sell it to them so that they have it. Why in the flying fuck would you not leave the castle to the town that is next to you and go buy it from them?
The funny part is that you can buy the armor in the town.
Yeah, that's what you do. You buy the armor and the swords in the town, and then you sell it back to them.
The
But you have to
idea
get the
is
funds
that
to do it.
that you grind with like the creatures so they drop the stuff, but you can just go buy it.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah, I found that bizarre that they couldn't leave the actual kingdom just to go buy it from the merchants in the town. Like, we don't sell to you people.
Like
You're the kingdom that's keeping us safe, but
We're
no.
above this.
It took so
above
much
this.
for him to get the shop permit in the first place.
buy.
And then they give him like this menial task.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
But he ends
Great
up
stuff.
he ends up completing that, and then you have to get like a ridiculous amount of gold as well.
Yeah,
To-
that's true.
End up completing the tunnel to get to the other side.
But when
you
you
end
fill
up
the
having to pay the
order-
workers.
You fill the order from the king and he gives you a ton of money, which I didn't spend on that.
Oh no, you You want to do a small little gameplay defer right here as we're going in this story? There's a very big trick to this.
Yeah, so
Explain
when
it,
you're
Dylan.
at the first, when you're actually selling for another shop owner, like you wait until these guys come in and sell you cutlery, I think. Cutlery sword?
I believe I didn't quite do this technique, so you explain
Okay.
yours.
So anyway, you get this special sword, which is actually really helpful throughout the rest of the chapter. So once they bring that in and you buy it off of them, you just say no to everybody else. So the one sword stays in the inventory for the shopkeeper. So then you go and you grind out money, or you can just keep working there and saying no to people until you get enough to buy the sword. And then you buy the sword. It stays in the inventory, so you can buy it like multiple times.
Right.
So the idea is that you grind gold or gil, I guess. And
No, it's gold in
Is it
Dragon
gold?
Quest, yeah.
It's gold.
It's
Okay.
Gil in Final Fantasy.
I get that mixed up.
The lesser series.
No, it's not lesser.
So anyway, the point is that you're trying to get a large amount of these swords from that shopkeeper. And you go buy those and you bring them back to the town where your shop is, and you can sell everything for double. So the idea is that you
Isn't it 1.5?
it could be 1.5.
Yeah.
Either way, you get more
Yes.
in that town. So what you do is you go and buy all these swords, and then you sell them. And then
Yeah.
you sleep, and then you go collect your money, and then you go buy more swords. And you can keep doing that until you get tons of gold, which you can use in
accumulate it.
like casino coins, which also has pretty awesome stuff. Or you can, I think,
What I did was I figured out that as you go from chapter to chapter, you do not retain gil. The gold.
no,
Jesus
the
Christ.
gold goes away.
The gold completely goes away. So as you are grinding for all of this stuff, you end up spending all the gold on equipment on the shops. So
Yeah.
I made sure that with all the money I had, I bought 99 of each weapon and armor that was there.
Yeah.
All those items stay into the bag. So when you go meet up later with Tornico again in chapter 5, you literally just have it all in the bag and you go straight to the shops and sell
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah, so the idea is that you get max of everything that you can possibly buy, and it carries over. And then you can sell that and have tons of money later in the game, which you can use to buy like a lot better
Whatever you
equipment.
need at the beginning of each town, just buy max like that. Don't even have to worry and just keep progressing through.
So gold isn't a
Damn.
problem if you utilize that in the game.
Yeah.
Wish I had known about
It's a
that.
pretty big trick.
It's
Wish I
helpful.
had thought about that because it seems pretty obvious, honestly.
Yeah, I actually screwed it up, and I had to restart the chapter.
How did you screw
So
it
it's
up?
broken.
I sold the sword, the
Oh,
expensive
yeah.
sword.
For me, I
Ah.
never did the stuff in
Yeah.
the selling myself to get the sword.
Mhm.
I just did the basic equipment from the shops.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get to get that $60,000 sword or whatever.
That sword makes the chapter so much easier, though.
Yeah, you probably beat me about an hour in gold
You
grinding.
one-shot everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
Nice.
So it's easy to grind levels, and it's easy to get stuff that the monsters drop.
So yeah, once you end up finishing the tunnel, you go through it, and then it ends the end of chapter 3.
Yep.
So, and chapter 4 starts off in a theater with the coveted Maya is giving her farewell performance before setting off. Now, I don't know if this is a theater because what was implied was this was like a fucking brothel. It was a fucking titty bar, in my opinion.
Well, you meet a character later that's like a comedian.
It's a burlesque show. That's what it
Burlesque
is.
show, yeah.
So like, I don't
It's
see how
raunchy and risque.
how does the comedian fit into that? Maybe his act
They-
involves that.
They just have comedy night, I guess.
Yeah.
Comedy Tuesdays.
That makes
But
sense.
to me, it's not a theater. It's, just, it was weird to me for a second. That's all. And then she sets off with Mina to avenge the death of their father, Mabala. Mabala. At the hands of
Can you
Ballsack.
Yeah, ball sack. Good old ball sack.
Balzack. Really? Just really?
That one feels intentional.
Really? I never would have thunk it.
Too bad he doesn't look like a ball sack. Just
I
to
know, that
really
would be-
like. Just
Oh, we
really
got
nail
something
it
to
in
discuss
there.
when we get to design. I didn't
Well-
even think about it, and Craig literally pointed it out to me before we started recording the episode. And
Mr. Codpiece.
Mr.
Oh, we'll
Codpiece.
get to Mr. Codpiece.
He will live on as this episode's artwork. It's crazy. But they head to their old hometown, Abu Dhabi, where they learned that their father's other discipline, Ujama, apparently still lives. They eventually find the Palais de Leon, where they find that Maman is dying, a victim of the miasma flowing through the mines and monsters that have made the mines their home. To me, that part was boring. But back at the Paris de Leon, they get the Chancellor in to unwittingly reveal where Balzac is, and using the power of the Sphere of Silence, defeat him. But you are imprisoned by the Marquise, and when you're done by the Marquise, they come across an old guy that just says, "Hey, use the boarding pass. Get out of here."
Yeah, he was.
And
like
then they go
old
to the
king.
place, and then they get out of there.
I think he was the former king.
I believe he was the
Yeah.
former king.
Also, that battle with the Marquise, you can't beat him. It's impossible to beat him.
Yeah. You obviously, that's how you get captured.
Yep. That's why you're in prison, and that's where you meet the former king, who gives you a boarding pass.
Boarding
To me,
pass.
yes,
That's what it is.
is your papers.
Show your proof.
Happens to have them.
And they go to the planet of Endor, or the moon of Endor.
Moon of Endor. There you go.
Fucking Ewoks, dude. It's the only thing that they needed to complete this.
They had like those Yeti-looking enemies.
Oh,
Yeah, there was those.
Those could count.
So,
Oh,
all in all, a very uneventful fucking chapter.
Pretty much, yeah.
I did not like this chapter, nor did I use these characters that much, if at all.
I thought
Only
they
when
were
you had
okay.
to.
They had really good spells.
They did, yeah.
I believe one was tolerable and the other one was trash. Maybe it's like Mina was good, but Maya was trash.
Maya had really good spells later
Okay, then
on.
I'm mixing the other two up. Maya would have been good and Mina would have been
Mina
average.
is the one that is utilized more from what I saw.
Okay. Either way, I didn't use them much because when your group of people is Alina, the hero, Ragnar, motherfucking Ryan, and Krill is multitaskable. Like he's both an attacker and a healer. There's just no room for anybody else until you get to the bonus characters.
Yeah, the great bonus
But
characters.
How does everybody else
Chapter
feel about this
6.
chapter?
Chapter 4?
Yeah.
It was fine.
I mean, it
It was the worst.
I do think that it was the worst, to be honest. It was longer than the first one, and the first one with Ragnar is
It's awesome.
yeah, it's great, but it's like only like what, an hour long.
It's pretty
Oh,
short.
yeah, it's short. There's
There's like some grinded you can do, but like it just ends and you get like a fuckload of XP, and then you're just like, all right, on to the
Yeah.
next chapter.
it's not nothing that I really have a bad pacing problem with, but one's is short, 2 with Alina is long, 3 with Tornico technically can be long if you did what me and Dylan did,
Yeah.
but it's short, and then you go into chapter 4 and it's unnecessarily long with the sisters.
I don't know.
It was just a little weird.
I think the pacing has to do with how many characters are in the chapter. Because, like, Ragnar really only focuses on Ragnar. I mean, yeah, you get Healy, but, like, it's really just about Ragnar. And then...
Well, you still got
and that
the
one's
wife and
shortest
the
one,
husband.
And it's also the one that, like, just introduces it. And then you have Elena, which also has, you know, Borea and Kirill at the same time.
Right.
So there's like 3 dudes, which explains why that one would be kind of longer, and then you got Tornico, which could be short. Tornico
or Talon, apparently, in the NES version.
Who
Which,
cares?
no, I do not like that name for
Wait,
Talon.
what was it?
Isn't that his last
Talon?
name?
Talon? That's way better than Tornico.
Tornico. I call it
Tornico
Tornico.
either. Like
T-O-R, Nico.
Torloon
N-E-K-O.
is awesome.
Talon.
Talon.
That's his last name, I thought.
Was it his last name?
Yeah.
Tornico Talon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna call
Still
him
not
Talon.
better than
the wife-
Ragnar McFucking Ryan, man.
The wife calls him that. a couple of
Tulun?
times. Tulun.
So far, Ragnar Big fucking Ryan, that's the full name, yes, is on orange status for Dragon Quest.
I'd put him above.
Oh, we won't have this discussion here.
His pink armor is great. So fuck you.
I'm not
right.
saying he's not great. I'm just not
reason.
discussing Final Fantasy X with you ever again.
Well, I mean, I feel like Ragnar also has more of a personality, but whatever. So
Did you not do the fucking jet spheres? Anyway, back to
No,
Dragon
fuck you.
Quest.
Fuck those spheres. Fuck Final Fantasy X. All right.
Great.
It's a better Final Fantasy than most of them.
Is it?
Yeah. So chapter 5, you take over as the hero again, and it shows you being ambushed by the monsters that are pursuing you. They take you to a room to hide out, and when they feel like they're going to be overthrown, his friend Eliza comes in, who has the morph ability,
From earlier, yeah.
and she disguises herself as the hero. And she gets slaughtered.
Yeah, she gets
for it.
fucking murdered.
Yeah,
I swear I remember hearing it too.
that was
Like
the
it was like
shocking-
like that sound in Tactics, right? She's like,
yeah, that was pretty
brutal.
shocking
I
for
heard
Dragon
it. I'm
Quest.
like, ugh.
You know, it kind of is. Like, they haven't
Yeah.
really had anything, like, super dark in Dragon Quest until, like, right then.
Yeah, it
No,
kind of
3
reminds
has got
me.
a couple dark
Three,
moments.
three has
because of
some
these-
stuff, but, like, your friend, like, your childhood friend sacrifices herself for you. That's
Friend,
pretty dark.
more than friend, I would say.
Unless you're
Was it
female.
implied?
Well, you don't know that. Nobody. Did you guys play as female?
No.
Did
No.
you, Jake?
No.
Then we have no idea.
We have no way of knowing. You're right. That's why I said we don't know.
You think the text actually
Schrodinger's
changes?
gender right there.
No, I don't.
We don't know what happens.
I don't. So anyway, that happens, and you leave the village where you grow up in. And then you go
Heading
to
out on a grand adventure.
yeah,
Because
grandest-
everybody in your town is fucking slaughtered and you really don't have a chance.
it kind of
choice.
reminds me of Star Wars for some reason.
Huh, I wonder what that would be. It's not like,
it's like
I
a-
don't know.
It's like a call to action or something.
Huh.
So anyway, you go to
Imagine that.
the town
Somehow you come from
Casablanca.
royalty, but we won't explain it yet.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
there
to
was
that.
something hidden about you.
Oh, dude, it's fucking obvious right
Yeah.
from the fucking start. Are you kidding me?
So we go to Casablanca next,
Casablanca.
which is an interesting name for a town.
I wonder why it would be called Casablanca.
Yeah, I do wonder.
Fucking got a bar. A black guy who plays piano.
I know, right?
This is
Play it
reminding me-
again, Sam.
Yeah. Anyway, movie references. So Casablanca is where the king is recruiting adventurers to fight against Estark or
Yes.
Estark.
Either way.
No, they may not be
Lord Stark.
recruiting for
It's one of the
alliances versus the Republic. No, that may not be happening.
Yeah, so Estark is a pretty important character, I would say. But
Would
we'll
you
get
say
into-
that?
Yeah, I would say that.
Would you say that he's an important character?
I think so.
Huh.
But we'll get into that at a later time.
In about 10
In
minutes.
like 10 minutes.
Uh,
So you head to Casablanca and you run into the characters from the previous chapter.
Mina and Maya.
first Mina and Maya, yeah.
What a coincidence that was.
I know.
This is one
It-
chapter
it
ago.
may be
How
that-
strange.
Some of these chapters may lead to them being chosen, perhaps?
Feels like maybe these chapters lead into the other chapters.
I get a sense that they're chosen.
That's
Chosen to do
strange.
something.
It's like it's a story.
Huh. It's weird. It's weird that it would be like that.
Subtext for the subtitle.
So basically, after you head out of this town, your task is to find the other members of the chapters that you played them in to help you on your journey.
You do come across somebody new, though.
Yeah, you do come across Hank Hoffman Jr.,
Yes.
who introduces his wagon where you store your party members.
Which is a
That's
first.
Nice. It's great.
So you journey south and you eventually reach Mintos. And then this new character that you're just introduced to decides that he's going to make that his place to stay.
Yes.
And just gives you the cart.
Yeah. Do you guys remember what the animal's name is?
The horse?
Mary Lou? Is it Mary Lou?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah,
Mary
he gives you his horse Mary Lou
Yeah.
for traveling like one town south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought me
What-
where I needed
what
to
was-
go.
And why he leaves the party is because he wants to explore the wonderful wide world of learning how to be an innkeeper. An innkeeper.
Well,
It's an
we
important
all
job.
know that in certain countries you have to stop wars. In order
Yes,
to have
because
your
you
own
are a
name.
merchant of sorts. That's how you get your comeuppance, right?
Yep, yep, that's how
But
you
this
have to do
guy
that.
only has a wagon and the horse, and he already gets his upcoments without helping out a king, and he gets to become an innkeeper.
It's
What kind
a
of
di-
fucking system is this?
different country, different rules.
country,
It's funny
different
because
continent.
the innkeeper that he's gonna train under is Conrad Hilton. An
Oh,
innkeeper
yes.
named Conrad Hilton.
It's gonna stay at the Hilton.
Yeah,
And
he's
why
gonna
not the
stay at
Marriott Suites? Hello, I'm General Marriott Suites.
I'm Mr. Motel 6.
Motel 6.
I'll leave the lights on for you, baby.
I can't wait till the next Final Fantasy has Motel 6s.
You think it will?
I don't think they have that kind of money, Motel 6 anymore. I'm assuming it will be like a Econo Lodge or something that fucking sponsors an FF. Well, I don't think Motel 6 has got that kind of money left anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
An
product
Econo Lodge is
placement.
fucking trash anyway.
yeah, it's fucking great though. All right.
Yeah. Product placement in Dragon Quest 4 Hilton Hotel.
Some nice Hiltons.
It's very subtle.
That
It's
money check
subliminal.
came through. For
Is
some
it
reason in
subliminal?
like 1990 something, whatever the year, this like 92, somehow the Hiltons, paid money to a fucking
Conrad
Japanese
Hilton,
developer.
a name
to-
you can trust.
Dragon Quest is a big deal in some places.
I don't think there's a Hilton hotel in fucking
Don't
Japan.
underestimate the power of Dragon Quest.
There might be one. We don't know.
In 1992?
We'll look
Sure, why
into
not?
it. We'll look into it later.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go for it.
Not on the show.
Uh,
Nobody knows. We don't care.
And then from there, they go to Palace de Leon, where they see Marcus de Leon and defeat him. in
Yay.
combat. Finally, you're powerful enough to take him down. Then the party learns that Chancellor Ballsack
that ball sack.
has
Is taken
taken residence
The
in
Chancellor
another
gives up
location. And
his
that location happens to be where Elena and her father live.
Yes.
Which was a pain for me to find. I looked for like an hour to find it. I couldn't remember where it was. And it was just on the western side.
I could see you making that mistake. I don't remember
Yeah,
if it took me time or not,
It was in the northwest
but I could see
region
that happening.
of the map. Yeah, I was lost for like an hour. I was getting really annoyed with that part.
But it's nowhere like getting lost in 3.
We forgot to mention Tornico and his ship.
Tornico and the ship.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's
you
that
gotta
part.
you
with
gotta
the-
help him get the flames. Like there's
Yes,
these flame
I forgot
dancers
about that. The,
in the
flame
tower.
dancers.
So anyway, you have to do this for some reason, and you get rewarded with Tornico's ship. So it lets you travel around the map.
Yeah.
And so I was tying that in with Zamaxva. That's a strange name. Anyway, where
It's like
Elena
Czechoslovakia.
in her kingdom are. So use the ship to go there. So you see Balzac defeat some monsters and comment that the experiment has failed and the armlet of transmutation is required for a complete transformation after all. North of there, you find the village or the town of Canalot, where the king is offering a substantial reward for anyone that can make him laugh.
Are you sure it's not for pulling a sword out of stone?
That would be cooler, I think. Like, I think
It kind of feels like that's like a thing that the
King Arthur
should have
reference?
done.
Yeah.
Let's call this town Canterlot and then not have a plot where you pull a sword out of
I
stone.
don't think it relates at all. Like, just the name,
It's a big fail.
Camelot, Camelot.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, they need to get a guy who can make the king laugh, and the comedian they get's name is literally tomfoolery.
Yes.
God damn it, dude. This game is like fucking pun.
Yes, it is.
It's Pun City.
So yeah, you have to go back to the place where Mina and Maya were at their burlesque facility,
Yes, it's the
Yeah,
burlesque.
the good old burlesque show.
where you find tomfoolery negotiating his salary, basically. And he agrees to come with you. He doesn't take too much to convince.
You're
for
gonna
some
perform
reason.
for a king. All right, sweet.
Yeah, it's a good gig for him. He can get his name out there. So yeah, you recruit
Business
tomfoolery,
opportunity.
and
I don't think he really needs that much help with spreading his name around.
I know if he's got like a Las Vegas show, you don't exactly ask, what's his name? Wayne Newton. Hey, you want to go perform for a king? It's like, dude, I do a nightly show in Vegas on the Strip. I don't need this shit.
well, he hadn't signed his contract at that point yet, so
And
he was
clearly the
easily
two greatest
swayed.
burlesque dancers they had already left. So.
I know. What kind of bad business practices are occurring here, man? You need to pay them bitches.
he wasn't even getting paid. They were just like feeding him. He was living off of meals.
Here's the trough. Comedians don't get paid shit.
No, they don't.
According to Monique, they don't.
Oh my god! Don't bring that up
Ooh.
again.
It depends
Here we
on
go.
it depends on the comedian
Yep.
and their gender, apparently.
And also their level of
Fame.
fame.
Anyway.
So, anyway, with tomfoolery, you go back to the king,
With
and
this huge anticipation, mind you, in my
Yeah.
head.
instead of telling a joke, he just like gives the king a speech
Yeah.
and
The
convinces
king's
him-
speech, perhaps.
The king's speech, yeah,
I thought that was fucking weird.
yeah.
Dude, it sucked.
And he just requests that
so
the hero-
anticlimactic.
He just requests the help of the king, I guess.
Like they couldn't even tell like a chicken crosses the road joke. Like I mean, fucking hell.
Well,
this game
later
is
on,
like,
we got a
this
chicken
game is
joke.
literally Pun City, and they don't do anything with the part that's supposed to be comedic.
I know.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's like here's a
not-
golden opportunity.
not good. So anyway, he gives this amazing speech, and he convinces the king to give the Zenithian helm, which is required to access a later location, to the heroes and his party. And then from there, they journey to the female town of Themyscira.
Yeah.
Anyway, the party there, while you're walking around in the town, which although it's an all-female town, they allow visitors.
And the priest there.
Yeah,
He's like giving himself praise, like, yeah, I'm the only man here, man. You know what's up.
You know what's going on? Them ratios.
he really
But
flaunts
if it is
too.
an all, so there's a priest there, right? And this is an all-female castle. I'm assuming something happens, like death by snoo snoo. Death by
Really?
snoo
Yeah,
snoo.
Really, I shouldn't be a priest.
He's already implying it as you're there. Yeah.
He really is. He's like, dude, I shouldn't be a priest.
They wanteth thy D.
Okay. So anyway, while you're in this town, you're falsely accused of stealing. What was the item again? Like a
Necklace, I think.
necklace.
Yeah. For some reason, you just randomly go up into the drawers and The woman leaves the room and then comes back and, oh, I found it missing.
Well, there was actually someone there before you get there.
Right.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like so brash and sudden. Like it would make sense if you walked out and then you started to leave the castle. But no, you don't even leave the room before the other person walks in and says, oh, it's missing.
It's kind of like it was set up
It was
for
definitely
you to
set
get
up.
caught. But
Yeah.
like the person that was there before was actually responsible.
Yes.
So you get thrown in
Maybe they
jail.
were.
You get thrown in jail because of a nun's accusations.
Yes.
Well, if she's a nun, then you have to believe her.
Yeah, you have to. And anyway, after some time has passed, you're taken into the queen and you plead your case, and she allows you to try and prove who the real thief is because she's fair, I guess. That's how she justifies it. But she's like a queen, so
She
whatever
doesn't need to be.
says goes. She
Yeah.
doesn't need to be just.
Yeah, she's just like, nah, fuck you.
So anyway, you go out to find the real thief in a cave that's relatively close by.
It always is.
And you find this man named Kirk Buzzer.
Son of a bitch.
Is pretty brutal for a boss fight that comes out of nowhere.
Well, the fight doesn't come out at, well, sorry, let me get better context to that. The difficulty of the fight comes out of nowhere. Because every time you go to do something in another cave or another castle, it is another fight, so you
Yeah.
obviously see it coming. But the difficulty on this fucker was, no, it's not necessary. I remember messaging Craig about this. I'm like, Kirk Buzzer is a fucking asshole. You didn't respond to it, but I figured you would have laughed about it or something.
I did. I just didn't laugh in the
Did
chat.
you have problems with it too?
No, but he was rough. I barely beat him.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised with how strong he was.
Yeah.
He was stronger than any other enemy had been up to that point.
Yeah,
By
and he's
far.
like a
But-
thief.
When you figure out that Kirk Buzzer, is a man, you just sat there and realized that it's a Mrs. Doubtfire type of thing. You got to pull off the wig and be like,
Oh my
Even
god,
think
dude.
of that.
this is not a woman, it's a man, baby. And then you start ripping the fucking wig off.
Okay, you know what? Now we're on the topic of cross dressing here. It's weird to me how often this comes up in Japanese games. Because
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII does it.
Yes.
Fucking- I just started playing Breath of the Wild, and there's literally a part
Yep.
where you have to dress as a woman in order to get into this town full of women.
Yeah, it's the
This
Gerudo
exact situation
town.
is happening. But it's what is this?
I don't know.
I mean, is it just for comedy? What? Is there
What is the
seriously just-
obsession?
I don't know. I don't know what it is because I've started to see it happen more and more as I'm playing more Japanese games, and I'm like,
Yeah. It
there's
occurs.
something weird here.
Yes, it does occur. But I don't think it's as big a greatest sin as sexually exploiting children and having sexualizing underage girls at 14 and 15. I think that's the bigger sin. Right. I mean, come on.
True, but we're talking about
Can Riku have her thong
Not
any
that.
further up right now? Ridiculous,
to
who
but
10.
knows? Who knows?
Back to 10. It
He
always
just
comes
he wants
back
to he
10.
wants to bring out my rage of that game. I literally hate that game. Okay,
I think it's a good Final Fantasy.
no,
anyway, yeah.
there's so many flaws.
But it definitely is bizarre,
So many.
and it has only occurred a couple times. You just happen to have played each of the games that it does occur in. So it comes
It's
as
either that or I'm just randomly getting assigned these games, and I'm like, what the fuck?
It could be a
subconsciously you need to
I think it is.
get out and let yourself be free.
Because I don't know. It's just I don't know.
It could be funnier to them, to that culture. I don't really find it that funny. It's just strange.
No, it's not funny.
Yeah, I don't either. Because it's always a weird situation too. In these games, Legend of Zelda, it sort of makes sense, but at the same time, you're like, why? Why
Yeah.
have it be that way?
To me, the Don Corneo part is funny, not the Cloud dressing up part as much.
I
Because
don't like that
I know.
entire part in Final
You don't like
Fantasy
making
VII.
him pretty?
No, it's not that. I don't maintain that as being. I think the Don Corneo part is funny enough and perverted enough with just Tifa and Aerith being there, not necessarily Cloud.
I don't think it needs to be
Because-
like, I don't know what they also have all that rapey stuff in them. Like, especially Final Fantasy. Like, my God, Final Fantasy VI is an entire comedy character based off of a rapist octopus from a hentai. And then they have freaking Final
Fan fiction
Fantasy
coming
VII.
soon. Super Sexy is alive.
Fucking Final Fantasy VII's like, hey, there's this part where you're going to take your two friends who you happen to be somewhat romantically involved with, and they're going to have little parts that imply that they're going to get raped if they don't get picked by the Don, who is also going to basically rape whoever he happens to pick to be his next wife.
Hey.
And then you, as Cloud, if you don't get picked by that guy, enter a room full of like 6 dudes.
That
or
was
6 or
funny.
7 dudes
I can't
who
be-
are coming right at you.
The Cloud thing is going to be rape. However, I don't like to defend rapists.
No, the freaking
But both
Ares-
Aerith and Tifa agreed to go along there. That is consent.
So does Cloud too, technically.
I don't think it is. I don't think.
Well,
it
the
is.
Cloud
And-
part is not
and-
consent until it
and
becomes different
You have to
people.
rescue Ares. She is literally running from the dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that-
yeah.
it is.
And
it
the
is
guy's walking around like a
insane.
zombie. I thought that was hilarious. He's like trying to chase her like around with his arms up.
Yeah, it's literally insane how much rapey vibes Final Fantasy is like. Hey,
There was a side
there you
quest
go.
too where he like ties them up. He ties up Yuffie and the Turk.
Elena.
Yeah. He ties them up.
yeah, dude. It literally, I question everything about Final Fantasy when I bring up like when I see one of those things.
So the thing,
Thankfully-
Dragon Quest isn't
thankfully-
nearly as bad.
Yeah,
okay.
thankfully Dragon Quest has
Honestly,
not had that
lighthearted.
yet.
More lighthearted
I-
so far.
I really hope it keeps that way. But it's fucking puns.
So anyway, you prove yourself and you find, I think it's the magical key. Was that the item?
Yeah, ultimate key, right?
Ultimate key.
Yeah, the ultimate-
some key. You
Yeah.
get a key,
It allows you to open basically every door in the game,
which is great.
which is kind of useful, I guess.
There's a
The
couple
skeleton
locations you can
key.
go back to in this skeleton key.
That was sarcasm. It's extremely useful.
No one can tell.
Yeah. Just in case, you can never be too sure with this podcast. Audio only.
Audio only, yeah, it's true. But you detect sarcasm through someone's voice.
Unless you're Joe.
Do you?
You know what? Now I don't know. Now I don't know.
It could just be my regular voice, Craig.
It's true. It's
Never
true.
know.
It could just be you.
It's just me. Anyway, you get the key and you also get this Zenithian shield, which is required. It's part of
Yeah, you're on a quest
Everything
to
is
get
fucking
all three
required.
your ensemble to get
It's
into
part of the game. In order to, do things in the game, they're required. Real difficult.
Yeah, it helps you get into a location later on. But moving on, you have to find the Royal Crypt, which you travel on a colossus, a giant statue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Giant
Like,
Anyway,
the shadow of the Colossus statue.
you go on this giant statue across a lake, basically.
Which I thought was really cool. It's not really a cutscene per se because it's not like a full motion video type
Yeah.
thing. But I thought it was cool how he was jumping from parts of the Colossus while you're going up it and down it to
Yeah.
get to the location.
So it's
I thought that was
basically a
cool.
dungeon,
The simplest
like a
dungeon
mini
ever.
mini dungeon. I don't know.
It was very cool to me.
You can get lost in that one. Like you have to shift the camera angles to find certain doors. Anyway, use the statue to get across to the Royal Crypt, where you use the mod rod, which modifies your character sprite into like it's random too.
basically, it's the morph spell. Just you have no control over it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you have to
As
use it
long as you're
multiple
not-
times occasionally if it doesn't give you the right thing.
Yeah, as long as you're at least a monster
annoying.
and not a human. Really?
so in the crypt,
Didn't
you
have that
have to
much-
be a monster.
Yeah.
Or no, not the crypt. The diabolic hall.
Yeah.
It's only accessible to monsters. And
I don't know that entirely. because I accidentally got into a few battles and I
did
kept
you?
progressing through.
I never had
In
any
each
battles
section,
there.
I would get into a battle and then another battle. I have no idea if it triggers anything,
Mhm.
but I
What-
know as I was going from room to room,
What
and
was your team when you did that?
I the same as it was for the most part. Everything except for Ragnar, because you
No,
did
no.
not
I
meet
mean, like,
Ragnar.
what did you turn yourself into? Because
Did you even use it? Okay.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Because like I was a party of slimes.
Well, yeah, that's
and
obvious.
Then I just went through it.
So yeah.
And-
So I do. Maybe you can go further the way in, but I was doing that and doing a couple battles. I'm like, okay, this is taking forever. Let me just do the right thing
I
here.
didn't have any
And-
battles there.
Yeah,
Well, it's
didn't
because
have
I was an idiot
Huh.
and morphed into the priest and
That
just
makes
went
sense.
walked up and
Well, that doesn't make
and got
sense.
into a
then.
battle.
Anyway, you morph into a monster or whatever other thing,
Priest, baby.
but you can't trigger the cutscene unless you're a monster. Were you able to do that if you were a priest?
No, I have no idea. I said I went to like one or two of the rooms and then
Okay, and then you
I
figured
just said,
it out.
fuck it.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, use the mod rod and you fool the monsters into believing that you're a monster, obviously. And then from there, cutscene is triggered with Sorrow, and he says that Stark has been reawakened.
The Lord of the Underworld.
Yeah.
Stark.
And so you have to go to the mine that you visit earlier in the game. And you travel through, and eventually you come upon Stark, who is a giant sprite that looks pretty awesome, honestly.
Oh yeah, and the transformations later.
I was pretty surprised when I saw it.
Sweet.
And you get into a battle with it. The Lord of the Underworld awakens.
It's not that bad of a fight.
The very purpose of your awakening as a hero. So yeah, you defeat the monster, and Sorrow shows up, and he's like really surprised that you were able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And also, he had thought that he killed you
Yeah.
because of the morph earlier by your friend Eliza.
He thought that he invaded the village and just fucked you up.
Which is
and you're
good
gone.
that they thought that you were dead, and instead of just like assuming that you were still alive,
You'd
like
think-
they
Right.
always do in games like that.
You'd think like they would relay a message to him because Balzac didn't die and the Marquise didn't die immediately. Like the first time you face him.
That's true, but I guess they didn't know he was the hero.
That could be true.
Yeah, nobody's sure of the lineage anymore except for the slaughtered people in the village, which are dead, and probably the
the hero?
Yeah, they just
The-
kill everybody because they don't know what he looks
the-
like, I guess.
Zenithian people, right? The people in the sky. They
So-
they are probably like the only ones that know.
That's kind of a plot hole then,
his-
because why does she morph into the hero if they don't know what the hero looks like?
Oh snap!
Yeah,
That's true. They don't know because it says that in the first chapter.
they do.
Maybe they found out that that's where the hero was, so they were just killing everybody in the village, and he just escapes while she gets murdered.
They
Yeah,
just
but there's-
assume that everybody there is killed.
There's a
so by
dialogue
default,
that says that
By
the hero
default,
is.
that he's dead. Yeah.
well,
I
they don't even
guess.
look in the room. I guess
Because-
it's like a
wait,
secret passage.
So we're gonna bring up the Star Wars thing here. They assume that Luke is dead when they all take out all the oil fields,
Yeah,
and just assume it, and he gets to leave because they had no idea that he existed, what he looked like, and that he wasn't already killed. Because if I'm not mistaken, there is the other kids there too. That is part of the family.
Well,
Technically Skywalker family. Her brother.
I
and
guess, but it only ever
family.
shows
the aunt and
two.
uncle.
the aunt and uncle,
No.
which they don't.
No.
They get killed for some reason.
No, there's the two kids. There are two. Yes. Those are the other kids that are working on the farms. And then he asks Luke to work on the farms.
I have no idea.
Yes.
so I can't.
There is
confirm or
both
deny.
the guy's son and the daughter there at the dinner table when
I don't
Luke is
remember
whining
that.
But the blue milk,
about the blue milk.
I don't remember that. at all.
Sin.
Sin for forgetting two random children who apparently don't exist.
They exist and it is important in this context.
No, they don't
They,
exist.
they assume that he's dead then. And that they have no idea. But
Yeah, they just assume that he's
Dylan
dead.
has got a very good point. We're trying to argue against it. but I would say that it is definitely a
no.
plot
They
hole.
they burn down the thing, assuming that he's there, because they apparently found the
out.
information somehow. But
Who the fuck?
he still has a secret passage that he gets out from. and
Okay,
so
but when the plot hole then become, how did they get the information?
That it doesn't explain.
they're an
that.
army of monsters, who the fuck cares?
Okay.
Move on.
All right.
It's just Dragon Quest logic, so
It's not that big a plot hole.
it's
to be
not
honest.
that bad, really. It's just an observation. Anyway, they defeat Estark or Estark.
Lord Estark.
Sorrow shows up, and then he's shocked that a group of humans somehow overcame the overwhelming power of Estark.
Yeah.
A minion
impressed.
arrives with startling news. Rose has been taken by humans. Sorrow leaves
Oh
immediately
man.
instead of engaging you in combat, which is lucky.
Because that would be a dick of a fight.
Yeah, it would not be a very long fight.
No.
And the party retrieves the gas canister on the way out of the mine, which was blocked off by like a flame thing before.
Which makes
Switch.
no sense.
Then
I know.
dissipates.
It was. Let's just set the explosive next to the open fucking flame.
Yeah. Put a gas canister behind a wall of flames so that no one can get it. Genius.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that until just now. That seems like bad planning on their part.
Don't store in hot areas.
Yes.
So anyway, they have this gas canister and they take it back to Riverton.
Which is a flowing river. Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is where
Wow.
you find the giant statue. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. So you go back to that town, and there's this man that makes balloons, apparently. And conveniently, you have a gas
He's
canister.
a balloon ear by trade.
Yeah. The only one.
which can be transformed into a hot air balloon.
give him
surprising.
This motherfucker
the
is good at
gas
his
canister.
job.
Yeah, you give
Yeah,
him the
give him-
gas canister, it gives
Full
you
of
a hot air
helium.
balloon,
Right.
which is very strange.
It works though.
I mean,
It works
it's
and
useful.
it comes across the most awesome vehicle that I've seen in quite a long time.
Dude,
Never-
it brings like a whole new meaning to Around the World in 80 days.
Yeah, it does.
It's like Around the World in 2 minutes.
Which you kind of have a
that.
hard time
If
navigating.
that.
It's kind of hard to navigate sometimes with Dragon Quest vehicles as opposed to Final Fantasy ones. You just kind of constantly go in one direction and then you got to change it instead of fully manual. It's kind of like autopilot.
Yeah, I guess.
It's different. So to each their own on that.
It's
but
basically
more
an
of a
airship,
grid,
never
though.
before have I seen a hot air balloon as a fucking transport vehicle.
It's an
It
awesome
makes
idea.
It's
It's
awesome,
awesome.
and it makes way more sense than a fucking airship.
That's true.
Yes.
But
That
there's a lot
somehow
of people
is
that
able
have
to
to
be
go in
flying
that.
by mist.
And also, you're taking a wagon and like a horse.
It's a great hot air
It's
balloon.
very big.
It's
The
a blimp.
fucking Renaissance fair is what it is.
Dude, okay, now I hope that in the next Dragon Quest we get a blimp.
That would be cool.
A blimp? Yes.
I don't know how they would fit it into like
Blimp!
that kind of setting that Dragon Quest has, but they'll
Well,
find a way,
they-
I'm sure.
The fucking blimp where you capture monsters and then you store all of your monsters on the fucking blimp. Because
But
that's
like on
safe.
top of them?
No, like in the blimp,
You just like strap them down like a deer.
which
the roof
would
of a
be-
car.
which would be awesome if you capture one of those dancing flame dudes.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Oh, God.
It's fucking
I guess
full
we
of
shall
helium.
see soon enough. what-
Hindenburg.
Hindenburg.
All right, so you have this hot air
Dragon
balloon,
Quest Hindenburg.
and it gives you access to places that you couldn't get because of like various mountains,
Yeah, the mountains that block the way.
like things that enclose a location that is like a whole other region. It's like
It's its own like continent
It's
that
like a
doesn't show up on the
continent
map.
inside a continent. It's like
Yeah.
continent
Inception.
inception. You stole my thunder, Craig.
Good.
So anyway, from there,
Taking you too long.
yeah, the delivery was slow. So from there, you go on the hot air balloon and you travel to the World Tree, which is interesting, I guess.
No, it looks cool. I like the way it's designed. Like,
Yeah, but
you're
it's like
climbing up the
a
trees.
it's like a tree in a desert, like a giant tree in the middle of a desert.
Where the fuck else is a tree gonna go?
Well, I guess that's why it's a desert. The tree requires lots of water.
It requires all of the water.
All of the water.
Which is why it's pretty much almost dead.
That's true.
You don't, there isn't any life in it at this point.
Yeah, and you can grab the leaves off of the tree too. And it revives a party member. It's an awesome item.
Because that's a staple, and I don't want to call back a horrible fucking Dragon Quest 2 when I'm poisoned and I have to find a Yggdrasil leaf way early than anticipated.
Yeah, that's true.
You love Dragon Quest 2.
Still better than Final Fantasy 2.
I have no opinion on that.
So,
I
you
don't
go
know,
to the
man.
World Tree.
I appreciate Final Fantasy 2's attempt at being ahead of its time.
No comment.
It did it poorly, but
The
it
job
attempted
system.
it. No, it didn't
No.
have a job system. It had a thing.
I'm not
where,
familiar with that one.
Final Fantasy 2 had this thing where like
Sidetrack.
There we go.
the more you use something or whatever, you got better at it.
Oh,
So
okay.
like if you use a sword a lot, then you do more damage with swords, and if
Your
you
sword
use
level will
magic a
increase.
lot- if you use magic a lot, then you do be better at magic. Get like more MP. If you get hit a lot, you start getting stronger in health.
That's kind of a cool idea.
It's broken.
but yeah, the
It's completely
implementation
broken.
probably
And
wasn't-
even the story in Dragon Quest 2 is better because there's more depth to it. And
Story
even though
in Final
there's
Fantasy
level
2 was just Star Wars.
right,
This
so
is like
the,
Star Wars too.
Yeah,
but-
but like
and so
Closer.
on those regards, yes, the skins are trash in Dragon Quest 2. And there's weird scaling, especially once you reach the snow area towards the end.
Yeah, like the
That's
very last area.
a slight imbalance, but it's nowhere near a slight imbalance
slight imbalance.
compared to everything else in FF2. Dragon Quest 2 is better.
That area is just ridiculous. It is. So anyway, you go to this world tree. You acquire the Zenithian sword, and you also meet Orifella, something like that. Orphelia. And she helps you access this basically heaven
It's
region of the
no,
game.
It's a stairway to heaven.
Literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
It's called
Stairway to
Stairway to
Zenithia.
Yeah, fucking might as well be a song.
And she's buying a stairway.
So with all the
to
Zenithian
heaven.
equipment, you go to the stairway of Zenithia, and you climb it, and there you meet the Zenith dragon, which is basically God or Jesus,
He totally is.
which is awesome. I think I like that.
That part was cool.
I like that parallel that it draws there with heaven and hell. Anyway, you meet this dragon, and he powers up your hero. So basically, he gives you a lot of experience points. And he powers up the sword for the last dungeon of the game.
Which ends up being a less effective sword than a couple others you could even obtain. So it's
Yeah, I didn't really rely on that one. So yeah, you get all these power ups, and you travel to. Let's see.
But he ends up telling you that there's dark energy piercing the clouds, indicating that Sorrow is definitely in the process of using the secret of evolution
Okay.
to increase his power. They learned that there are 4 barriers that must be breached before Chaos and Ardrea can be entered and Sorrow fought.
So yeah, basically you travel
The secret
to,
of evolution.
you travel to hell, and there's this dude trying to evolve.
Right.
I don't know how that connects.
Digivolve.
Really.
Yeah.
It did not explain itself quite well.
Yeah.
And that is a nitpick that I have on a note here, is that when they are trying to describe the secret of evolution, that they say, and I quote in a line of text, is a evolution. You never describe something with the same word that you are describing. So you do not say toy boat is a toy that, no, you can't do that. That is not a way to describe something, is using the same word as the description. So there's not much depth to the secret of evolution. It's clearly
really know if there has to be,
but
it
like-
sucks. It's
he reached the level required, and
yeah,
Now he's in the process
the
of-
indicated level,
Then how is
and
it a
now
secret?
now he's evolving
Yeah,
because that is the secret.
he's
Digivolve.
fulfilled
The secret
requirements.
is that
The secret to
nobody
my
knows that you
success
have to
is-
reach a certain level. That's the thing. He knows what
my
the level.
eyes are officially.
He knows
rolling.
what the level is, and he has reached it.
he has reached.
And then he evolved.
He digivolved.
All right, so yeah, then you got to go take out the 4 beast dudes, and then take down the barriers, and then confront Sorrow the Manslayer.
Which I guess they're like creating a barrier to protect him as he evolves.
Yeah, it's trying to block them from attacking him during the time while he's doing that.
So yeah, you got to go take out those guys and bring down the barrier, and then you enter the final castle of the game, and it's pretty good, I guess. Enemies are really difficult. They're like boss level enemies, I would say.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Yeah, you guys agree
There
with
was that one creature, I can't recall his name, but yeah, there's that one in there that I kept getting a fight on, and I'm like, geez, this is rough. But it was that one. All the other ones that came in like 2s and 3s was no problem, like the mages and stuff. But I swear there was just this one creature that would show up and was
Just
here's the mini area boss, or
It was just one enemy?
yeah, it was just one enemy on screen that kept showing up.
Can't think of what it is.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it scales. It's a pretty hard scale right there, I would say. Which makes sense. Anyway, you go fight those bosses that are, I guess, some of the monsters that are part of Sorrow's crew throughout the game.
yeah,
Which
it's
they
his
don't really-
clique.
They do mention one of them.
Ammon.
Yeah, but the other ones are just kind of random.
Yeah.
So you go beat them. They all vary in difficulty. What would you guys say was the
Piece
most?
of cake. Oh,
They were all a piece of cake for you?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I was high enough level that I think I just destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
You guys remember what level you were?
Not
For
much.
the Sorrow fight, I think I was around like level 38 or 40.
Oh, dang. I was
I just-
over-leveled.
Assuming that I was around there, it's been a
Well,
while.
because
so I
like
can't recall.
in the end game, like chapter 6, like when you fight Ammon is the final boss, like the secret final boss. Then like I was like level 45
Oh, okay.
to beat him. Something
Yeah, I was
that.
like, when I entered the Sorrow battle, I was like 45, so I was quite a bit over-leveled.
oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just done that extra stuff then.
Yeah, I didn't have time, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You did beat it like what 2 days ago? A
No,
day
you
ago?
I beat
literally
it-
beat it last night.
I beat it today.
Oh,
I beat it
Oh,
at 4:30
nice.
in the morning today.
4:30 in the morning. Great. All right.
I was
did it for you
dedicated.
Your
guys.
memory
You
is
did it for you
fresher than
guys.
ours.
Yeah, I would say for this last chapter, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You go into that fight.
you go into the final fight. The design is basically East Ark, but like a reskin.
Yeah, it's a little bit. He's color different, and then he like changes form a couple times.
Oh, 7.
yeah, seven times.
fucking times. This is a 7-stage fight.
Yeah, so basically you chop off each of his arms, and then you chop off his head, and then he like morphs a face into his torso,
Each
And then he
transformation
adds-
is sweet.
and then
So
he
even
adds
as a
like
sprite-
arms, and
So-
then he adds like another head and gets spikes.
So basically, he's evolving while the fight takes place.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah,
So it's pretty awesome,
yeah.
and he gets a lot more difficult. So the key to that is just to beat him fast when he's in his final forms, because he can take your party out really easily.
Oh,
Yeah, you know
it
what?
is.
I like the design of this guy a lot, but like at the same time, they like reuse it for a bunch of stuff.
That's
'Cause,
something
like-
I didn't like.
Because in the fight with Ammon, he's basically the same guy, except for he's like white and purple, so he looks like Frieza in like his third form.
That's cool
So-
though.
So originally, then we're talking about the Chapter 6 content that's add-on. So as
Yeah.
far as that part goes for PlayStation and DS versions, I think it takes away a little bit by reusing the skin.
Yeah,
a little
for like
bit.
a different guy,
But-
even that's kind of weird.
But is that not the secret of evolution? You just all transform into the same guy.
it's not fucking Digimon. We're talking Pokemon here. And Pokemon, everyone has their own individual evolutions.
No, your hair
Okay.
just gets longer and like spikier, and it changes color.
And the cotton
no,
becomes
that's
bigger
that's
and thicker.
Dragon Ball Z.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was going for.
Toriyama.
There you
Yeah,
go.
well, yeah, I guess it's Toriyama, but it's different. It's different. in this.
Is it?
It is. I feel like it is. Yeah. So the game ends with you dropping off each of your companions to their respective towns, and they have their own little bits where they resolve whatever was going on. Like Torneko meets up with his kid and his wife. The Mia and Maya meet up or go to their father's grave or whatever, and then they go back home. And then you just drop off each of your people, and then you go back to your hometown after it's all destroyed, and then it magically isn't destroyed for like a second, and then your friend gets revived in a field of flowers.
Yeah, that part
And
really
then
bothered
and
me.
then
actually,
and then the screen pans down a little bit, and then all of your friends are there for some fucking reason.
so you just dropped them off.
After you literally watch a cutscene that is like 5 minutes long of you just dropping them all off at their respective places, they're all just fucking magically there the second that you arrive, which means they left like the second you drop them off at least.
Yeah. And then
Drop
the
them
dead
off 2
friend
seconds later, and they're just like, "Oh, I
descends
missed him.
from
I
the
gotta follow him."
skies after being slaughtered.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, I imagine, okay, I'm pretty sure that the Zenith dragon is just like, he didn't want to fucking live here in heaven with the rest of the badass dragon
yeah.
angel people.
We
So
forgot
let's
to-
just revive his dead girlfriend.
We forgot to mention after the Sorrow fight, like the Zenith dragon just swoops in and rescues you.
Oh,
Oh, as the place is gonna totally
Yeah.
implode.
the Deus Ex God,
Fucking hell, yeah.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars.
Or Lord of the Rings.
It's like the Millennium Falcon coming in and shooting the TIE fighters.
Or the fucking the Eagles, the end of Lord of the Rings.
That too.
Tolkien did it
It's,
first.
Yeah.
it's all the same thing.
So I didn't like how they killed off his friend and then she just magically is revived and everything's fine.
Reminds me of a different number series of the number 4 resurrecting all of its characters at the end of the fucking
see,
game.
that's a little different in a way.
It's a little different, but I just
Because
have to
Final
draw
Fantasy
that parallel.
IV like revives all but like one character, and this one only one character dies.
It's 'cause, yeah,
and then she gets revived.
Tella. That's
And I wouldn't be as bothered by this if like they had asked the god of like the Zenith dragon to revive her, instead of it just like magically happening when he like for some fucking reason goes back home
Yeah,
to like his destroyed town.
or at least
It-
collect
weird.
something along the way.
Yeah,
like
and-
Dragon Balls.
Yeah, yeah. He needs the Dragon Balls
Yeah.
to
Right.
summon the Zenith dragon. My God, that's perfect. Okay, anyway, yeah. So like, I wouldn't have been as bothered by that if they had done that, or like at least not had the part where all of your friends are just fucking there.
yeah.
Because then
That was
it could have
stupid.
just ended with like you having like hugged your girlfriend, and then it's just like, hey,
He
it's-
forces the people into
it's-
slave
it's
labor to
now-
rebuild his hometown.
It's now just over. It's like you have a nice ending there where he reunites with his girlfriend or friend or whatever she is to him, and then it just ends. But instead, it's like, hey, all your friends that you literally just dropped off are just here to
Yeah.
be with you now.
I have no idea how the NES version actually ends, but if it ends that same way, it's even worse because there would be no context beforehand. I have a problem with as little context of a quote unquote relationship between the hero and whatever her name is.
Eliza.
Eliza.
I can't imagine that they. Well,
And then, but if you played like the NES version, which doesn't even have this prologue, and that comes out
Yeah.
as an even bigger out of left field hook at the end, is even worse.
well, it would
if you
just be
didn't
like
even have the
it
prologue.
would just be like his friend saving her
yeah.
or her. Yeah.
So there'd be no implied relationship, and it wouldn't mean anything. Like, oh, somebody
Well,
we
they
never
would just
even
be-
met
they would
gets
just be
resurrected
Friend
because
Yeah.
you would
yeah.
originally start off as
Wouldn't make sense.
Ragnar McRyan. in the game. And then
That's a
so
good point.
Although that's an interesting way to start the game. To just start off with like not the hero until like the very end of the game.
yeah, the use of chapters in this game I love. I like that.
I do too. I really enjoy a lot of everything that's in this story wise.
Right. There's a few nitpicks because not every game is perfect. So
Yeah. Should we finish this chapter 6 and then go into story?
yes,
then?
the
There's
bonus.
not really anything to chapter 6, to be honest.
There's basically right.
It's just like
I
you
missed
go
out on
to
this.
visit her
do.
Rose's grave on Rose Hill.
Yeah.
Ingenious name there, and
Boom.
you need to go to trying to remember where
Central Island.
the Central Island to get a. You need to go back up to I'm getting this out of order. You have to go to Central Island, and you end up seeing a fissure there, and so you travel across this huge, ridiculous, long, unnecessary dungeon. In order, it was long to encounter Fu Yang and Chow Mein.
I missed out on this part because
And both
get the
me and
game
Craig
done.
did
Engaging a
this,
rather epic debate over the chicken and the egg.
and this was hilarious.
I missed out.
You did.
I
Yeah,
ran out of time.
They should have just had fucking these two be the comedy relief bit for the king. Like seriously.
they're equivalent to the Salt and Pepper of Chrono Cross and the Zorn and Torn of FF9.
God, Zorn and Torn. God, I fucking hate those guys.
But it's the same context of character.
In a
In
way,
case you guys
yeah.
are curious about that kind of thing. So, but they end up defeating them, and I swear it was multiple stages of fights. And that after each time you beat one, you'd end up getting like a max equipment for each of the characters. They'd like drop the best sword for Ragnar and stuff like that.
Yeah, they give him sweet shit.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
after
the
you
ultimate
beat
weapons.
them, then they allowed the world tree to be able to bloom again.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you get the Jägerstrill flowers to resurrect Rose. And
Does
then,
it ever say like how Rose dies? Because I don't remember that in the game.
No,
Are we just assuming that the humans killed her?
I think so.
'Cause that's kind of
Basically, yeah, she gets kidnapped by the humans, and then
Nothing
Sarah
else
gets
is
really
told.
Pissed off, yeah.
that's not very lighthearted.
I don't think.
She just dies.
I don't think.
great.
Yeah, she just dies, but I don't think Sorrow killed her.
No, Sarah didn't kill her.
No.
He
But
gets pissed
she ends up
off.
getting resurrected, and then she implores them to bring her to Sorrow so she can try and convince him to become part of your party.
Which is fucking awesome because he's
So-
a beast.
Yeah. So you end up going there and recruiting him. And so
How fucking cool is it that you can just like even in it's just like as an extra thing, you can just recruit the final boss of the game as your fucking companion.
Yeah, obviously
pretty
the
cool.
final boss isn't this, but it would be cool at the end for you to be able to recruit Seymour in 10. Because you do get that section while playing with him, and at that time he's fucking cool to play as. And
Yeah, he
you'd
was
be able to
right.
do that.
That's one of the characters
no,
I
he
don't
is
like
right.
from
Yeah,
that
agreed.
game.
He's right the entire
yeah,
time.
just go listen to the audio dramas, Craig. It'll pull a lot more in, and you'll agree with it.
Yeah, of
So,
course I do.
but-
Because that's been my theory the entire time. It's
And
like,
you are
I am-
correct.
I am correct about Final Fantasy X
So-
in every conceivable way.
No, not
Every-
in every conceivable way.
Conceivable.
But you travel back to the
way.
hall and you discover that Ammon ended up taking control of the monsters. He claimed that Sorrow was slain in Nadria in order for him to gain power. And he expected, both Sorrow and the main hero to have ended up killing each other. And he comes and takes the place as trying to recreate, the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
And
Game of Thrones again.
And then he claims that he has mastered the secret of evolution, and this is where he transforms into the exact same fucking sprite as the ending boss.
Except white and purple.
And white and purple.
Turns
So-
into Frieza.
And then you end up defeating
He really
him.
did turn into Frieza, dude. It's crazy.
See, that's why they have like the different colored sprites. It's just a throwback to Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Super Saiyans.
So you end
Although,
up
wait,
defeating
okay,
him.
hold on. When did Dragon Quest IV come out? Because I'm pretty sure it was before Dragon Ball
I think
Z.
it was 92.
Was it 92?
I don't know for sure. That's just what I remember.
Because Dragon Ball came out, right? And Dragon
Mm-hmm.
Ball was forever. And then Dragon Ball Z, I don't think that came out until, like, at least the Frieza saga
Yeah.
was, so, I mean, but this is like chapter 6.
1990 was Dragon Quest IV
1990?
in
Okay.
Japan, the original NES.
Oh, okay, but still, like,
It kind of fits in the timeline then.
in a way, yeah, because, like, chapter 6 was added on
understand
later for
anything they're
PS2
saying.
or for PS1. Have you seriously never seen Dragon Ball Z?
No, I have not.
Why?
Because I
What?
did not watch like any anime at a younger age.
Greatest
It wasn't
show
until
ever.
I-
really.
It's up there.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's not.
I don't
the
have
greatest show
anything
ever, but
inherently
still.
wrong with anime whatsoever. I just never grew up with it as a kid. It wasn't until a friend of mine introduced me to Studio Ghibli films and Full Metal Alchemist to pull me in.
Full
and
Metal
and,
Alchemist
and
is
depending
great.
on what niche type of anime it is, I'll end up watching some, but I'm just not exclusively anime versus watching a TV show that's real action. If something catches my attention, I'll get around to it. I don't have anything against it. I just haven't wiped the floor like everybody does and watches anime exclusively for months on end.
I would
It's just one of those
say-
things I never got into or have gotten time to.
I would say it's worth your time
Okay.
to watch it through. At least
Dragon Ball
once.
is better though.
It's really good.
Okay.
Dragon Ball is good too.
Dragon Ball is better. than
Dragon Ball is really
Z.
funny.
Dragon Ball is really funny, and it's also, I feel like it's better. To be honest,
I can
because
see
like
why you would say
the
that.
power scaling in Dragon Ball Z is insanity, and it gets out of hand really quick, especially when they learn how to fly.
Yeah.
Then it's like, and then in Dragon Ball they don't know how to fly, so the fights are still interesting.
They're more
I mean, they're
strategic.
cool. They're cool in Dragon Ball Z as well, but it's better in Dragon Ball, and that's why Dragon Ball Super is so great. Because the tournament of power that they're having right now, no one can fly unless they have wings. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's a return to Dragon Ball, and it's great.
Aren't they like really OP though?
They are, but
They're like
everybody is.
God level.
They are, yeah. But like nobody's flying around, and the fights feel like Dragon Ball again. It's great.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I've heard good
Okay.
things about that, but
So overall, what
invested
are our
time
final
in it.
thoughts about the
Watch it.
story?
The story is pretty awesome. I love the idea that it's sectioned off in chapters. You get the background of each character before like adding them to the party, which I have never really seen before in an RPG.
Nope.
Usually you just stick with like the main character the entire time.
Except for FF6, but they don't declare it as chapters.
FF6 is also different because like you start with Terra, and then like halfway through it switches to Celis.
and also
which
it came
is-
out in like 94, 93, I think, in Japan.
Yeah,
It's similar in quite a few ways.
I don't know. I feel like 6 is different because like it doesn't know who the character they want to be the main character / protagonist to be, and in this one,
Okay. Every time I draw a parallel to something, you
about
just have to
that.
shit on
dude,
it.
okay, no, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it is, but
I
it's
thought
not.
it was pretty obvious. It's Terra, then it switches to Celeste, and also
which is stupid.
Locke too.
Stupid.
It's a main character.
It is not stupid.
It is.
What are your thoughts
it
on
is,
Dragon
but
Quest?
I'm trying to talk about Dragon Quest, but
It's relevant.
You keep interrupting me with
relevant.
things.
I would say.
But anyway, yeah. So it's not something that I've really seen before, you know. And the fact that this is like an older game and nobody really copies it, like it's kind of weird because like Dragon Quest is like the progenitor of like RPGs, and this one has like a lot of really unique things about it. Like it's taken from its older games and added onto it. We'll talk about it in a moment, but like one of the things that they added was like the tactics thing for the DS and PlayStation versions, where you could control your party like while you're fighting. You like can switch whoever you want in and out of battle during a fight.
Never actually utilized it, but that's a cool
You
feature.
just went full ham with the 4 you had.
Yeah, like I pretty much did too, but I did switch out every now and then when I needed to, when they got low or whatever. But
Well, there is that item that you can use to bring the wagon right straight to the end of the Sorrow fight.
yeah,
So you can actually switch characters during that battle to make it a lot easier.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, and so like there's that feature, and I just really like the chapters, like taking a moment to like see each individual character, like what they're doing, what their lives are like before you meet up with the hero, to be like, oh hey, we're gonna go fight this bad guy. And the other thing I really like about it is that they all know about Sorrow. Like Sorrow is built up to be the bad guy the entire game.
Yeah.
Like everybody hears about him, like they're like, oh well, this huge bad guy is there. He's gonna be destroying people.
The
They're
secret
gonna
of evolution.
I think he's referenced in every chapter too.
Yeah, he
Oh,
is, and like they're like, oh, this is a prophesied hero that we're gonna go take care of and protect or whatever, with like Ragnar, and then he's mentioned somewhere else in each individual chapter, so they all know about him. They all know he's a threat, and then they all come together, and then they like eventually go and fight him. Which is fucking awesome, because like not every game really does that. I mean, there's sometimes a looming bad guy, but it's never like every single character has known about this guy the entire time before they meet up and fight.
Right.
Like it's interesting to see how like Sorrow is mentioned throughout their lives as they're just doing random things, and like the entire Tornico chapter, however you want to fucking say his name, is like one of the most unique. Yeah, Tornico. Like it looks like that's what you would say. But like it's one of the more unique chapters of the game. Yes. Like considering like you play as a guy who is literally a fucking merchant, and you do stuff as a merchant.
Yeah.
Like you sell to other people who just come along, and like it really is
what
an
are you
interesting thing. Yeah.
What
like,
are you selling?
It's like
it's also a treasure hunter.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
It's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
It's like a big fat guy that's like going and slaughtering enemies by the thousands
by himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the thing within gameplay,
because he's a
divulging
fucking
here.
god.
We'll get
just
there.
like Ragnar.
3 times. The 3 times I used him, I literally would trip with him, and he'd hit for a critical attack. Jeez. I thought, okay, normally when something like that happens, it says, oh, he missed. But for some reason, every time that Tornico tripped, I landed a critical hit. I'm like, the RNG, he is a god here. What happened?
Dude,
and then he stopped doing it, and then I kicked him out of the party.
He's like the luckiest person on the planet. Who knows? But
because
like,
Ragnar entered the picture.
Ragnar's fucking sweet.
Awesome.
So,
but yeah, you know that whole thing with Tornico. Fucking goddamn, I hate that name. It's just awesome. Like I really loved his entire chapter.
Yep.
And you know, even like the Elena stuff was kind of interesting. Loved the Ragnar bit at the very beginning. Although I kind of wish there was more with him and Healy.
Yep.
Like the adventures of Ragnar and Healy. But,
yes. Yes.
Which would be an awesome show if they totally did that. And honestly, this game is like, I'm like considering Tornico, just like outside of the podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
In case people like actually want us to play it with their possible Patreon goal for it, because I'm like, you know what? Maybe it could be an okay game, but I really like Tornico.
The character, yes.
If it's similar to that chapter, then yeah, that would be a cool game.
Yeah, like I mean, one of the coolest things about like Fable was being able to just buy properties and like being able to rake in the money from them. So
Landlord.
It's like, so if you were to have like a game that was basically like, hey, you play as a merchant guy and you can like basically take over the world with money. Wouldn't that be like the fucking sweetest thing in the world?
Wouldn't that be like any sim
exactly
game? I'm recalling like Sim City and Roller Coaster Tycoon. I mean, wouldn't that be the case?
Well, he can fight too.
It's kind of like that, but yeah.
I fight too by drowning people in my park.
That's different though. Like you can actually be like the merchant guy,
block him off and just drown him.
Who does whatever the fuck he wants.
You can be an explorer too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really fucking love that. I love that
He'll sniff his nose for treasure, and he'll tell you how many treasure chests are roaming around.
Yeah, he's
He'll
like, I
praise it.
know. Yeah, he's a beast, man. He knows his money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy all of the stuff that happens throughout the chapters. I like that that Sorrow is mentioned like everywhere.
Yep.
You just know that this is the bad guy. Like there's no like even when it has like the ball sack dude or like the whatever his name is, the Estark is the monster lord, like they're not the bad guys.
Yeah, you never get implied that there's going to be another guy like swooping in and being all of a sudden the person of interest.
Yeah.
In like a bossception type of way. You know that Sorrow is the main dude you're going to fuck up at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So it doesn't throw you a curveball like that.
Yeah, it really is great. I fucking love it.
Yes.
I enjoy the story a lot.
Same here.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will add is the character development goes way better than 3.
Oh yeah.
The one problem that I had with 3, as opposed to here with 4, is that they're nothings.
Mhm.
I know it's the prequel
They're
to the entire
mercenaries.
thing. They're just random mercenaries. You literally, they are throwaway people. You kamikaze them. You have them self-destruct for your own means and ends.
Yeah.
You just say fuck it. And this, every
Oh,
single
yeah.
character has an importance. Even though I don't like the old man and Alina's chapter, and I think
Yeah,
Maya,
Boria
Nina,
or whatever his name
Boria,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
are pointless. They all still serve a purpose, and you learn about them, and they actually have depth and purpose in the story.
Yeah, they have like an actual connection to the characters that they're with too. Like it's not just
Right.
like, oh hey, he has like a minor personality and he's just there. It's
Sure,
like,
the hero
they
doesn't have as much depth, but the cast of characters is what's more important.
well,
Yeah,
the
it's-
hero is supposed to be kind of you anyway. It's
Yeah,
like
Right,
he's
right,
a
that's
blank
the-
slate kind of
so,
character.
yeah.
And you know that's something that I was talking to somebody earlier about was like characters that are mute in video games.
Mhm.
You know, it's like it's something that's not done very well, I think, when there's like voice acting around them and then they just say nothing and then it's like and then they react to it. It's kind of jarring in a way. Like it's not necessarily a super detractor. Like it's not super bad in like Legend of Zelda, like in Breath of the Wild where they actually have voice acting. Though sometimes it kind of feels like Link should say fucking something.
Yeah, it does.
But and then like Persona 5, I really enjoy that game as well. But that game also has that sort of problem where it's like you're supposed to be the character and your character does have a voice in some cutscenes, but like
It's
For
weird when
most
that
part, he
happens.
says nothing.
It's weird
says-
when he talks.
Yeah, it's weird when he talks because
kind of shocking.
Like you pick what he says, but then he never says anything because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be you, and they react to it, and it's like, well, okay, but like it feels like there should be more. You should have a voice or whatever,
Right.
and in games like this, where it's just it leaves it blank for you. Because there's no voice acting, then there's no point. Like it doesn't detract from anything because it's not as jarring that you're not saying anything and they're just responding to it.
Right. So,
I really like that.
so I think the time that this game came out helps lead that to being a lot better
Yeah,
than what it would be in a modern game with something with voice acting.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
I
I
think it's
agree.
best made at the time that it was made and not something later on.
yeah. Basically, stuff with like because some games do it well, others it's like it's okay, but it's not. It feels weird, you know.
Right.
Like the older Legend of Zeldas, it's perfect, fucking perfect. It doesn't matter if Link says nothing because other people will just talk at him.
Right.
They don't expect a response from him; they just talk
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that way in this.
Yeah.
There's no really
For-
anything that they're expecting you to say. It just happens.
Right, yeah. So for all 4 of the Dragon Quest games, I've got that feeling, and I've had no problem with it as being the hero.
It's
in
one of
each
the great reasons. It's one of the reasons that I still love Dragon Quest 1 is because
Oh,
like
yes.
Dragon Quest 1 is basically perfect in every way outside of like it's
them.
pretty
Dated
grindy.
systems.
updated
Yeah.
systems a little bit, but it's still pretty grindy, and like that's
Yeah.
probably my biggest detractor. Other than I just fucking love the game because like it's the simple story of it. The character is. It doesn't matter if he's silent or not because people just talk at you, and he doesn't have to. There's no response necessary except for like the final one where he asks if you want to join the Dragon Lord or not. And then it just like, and that's like an epic thing that they just give you the choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very pure game, I would say,
Yeah.
in that regard.
And I feel
Any further thoughts, Dylan?
No
On
further
your-
thoughts.
No further
Just-
thoughts. You
yeah,
don't
just,
have anything to say.
Craig
Okay.
summed it up
It's a
pretty
good story.
nicely.
I enjoyed it. It's more in depth than the other ones by far. The
Yeah.
backstory
Yeah,
is
definitely.
great. I don't mind that the main character is kind of a blank slate. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't
You're
feel like a
supposed to be
detractor
him.
in this one. Yeah.
but he does have a backstory.
Yeah, he does. And it's cool that it allows you to choose whether you're female or male.
Yeah. I did like his backstory, where he's like a mix of human and like angel.
Yeah, that was kind of odd.
It was
Because
surprising.
it's like they're also like dragon people up
They
or
are.
something, and they're
Yeah.
angels. It's like so they're dragon angel people,
Mhm.
and then he's like a dragon angel human person. And
Yeah.
you kind of like, and you kind of know right off the bat because
He's
of,
part
like, the
angel, part
headpiece
part
that he's
human.
wearing.
Dragon
Yep.
angel, human.
That's why he's able to equip those Zenith equipment.
Yeah,
So it makes sense.
yeah.
It fits in well.
It fits well. Yeah,
it
it's
fits the
cool.
theme of the game.
It kind of goes along with Dragon Quest One again because it's like, hey, you
Yep.
have to find the special armor
Yeah.
and the hero's sword and to defeat the Dragon Lord. Which
Also in 2, but it's way more tedious in 2.
yeah, it is way more.
All right, so we will delve into the remaining parts of gameplay that we did not discuss yet.
So Dragon Quest combat is basically the same as it has been.
Yeah.
The added feature, like I discussed before, from the PlayStation and the DS, was that they added the tactics thing that allows you to do certain things. Most importantly, being able to switch out party members during battle,
Yes.
which is fucking awesome and a great mechanic in any RPG.
Including Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, including Final Fantasy X.
Yes.
And although you never do it, but
I don't.
and then
I don't.
so whatever,
It's unnecessary.
and then it keeps the coolest aspect of Dragon Quest II, which was being able to use weapons and equipment items as items, like as actual items.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. Like the goddess pearl, or the I can't remember what item it was. It was one of some item that could heal you if you just use it, and then
Oh.
It was
the-
4's equivalent to Prayer Ring. It just had a
Yeah.
different name.
yeah, basically it was basically the prayer ring, and then you had like weapons that could do stuff. And I really enjoy that. I really like they give the magical weapons a feeling of actually being fucking magical
Yeah.
by being able to use them as an item.
What'd you think of the staff that opens up the magma cave?
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
it's cool, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like that's all it does.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
decent item too in combat. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool way to implement it.
Yeah, like I really like the way that Dragon Quest does stuff like that. It's like, hey, you get an item and it serves a purpose. Like it's not just like, hey, this is a key item that you're gonna have forever now because
Or it's
For
just a thing
whatever.
that you simply use in combat.
yeah, it's awesome. It gives multiple purpose for like whatever you get.
Yep.
Those day and night cycles return.
Yeah, the day and night cycles return. Like there's the monsters now have movements and stuff, which is sweet. Like
Yeah.
you can see them moving around, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much
The hero who's the OG in this one. He can do anything and everything.
Yeah, which
He's
is
the
sweet.
ultimate person of all time. Actually, doesn't have to be part of the party.
I know that's something that's really awesome. But I mean, there's no point to not have him in the party.
Right.
He's probably the best character.
Yeah,
as
his
far as combat
versatility
goes.
is like insane to not have him in the party. So
Yeah.
And he has
it'd be
really strong
insane.
spells.
he
Yeah.
does have really strong spells.
Did you guys get the Giga Sword?
Yes.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah,
That helped a lot in the last battle.
Yep. So this was the first game to implement searching in drawers and inside of jars in order to do mini medals. So
yeah.
we got some of these systems a little bit early, like the tactics system and the mini medals for the versions we played, Craig. How did it feel progressing? Because we're kind of losing out a bit by playing the mobile versions of these systems being upgraded by one game to one game as the slowly progressing series. Dylan, how did you feel from going to...
I still had that in 3 in my version.
Oh, yeah. Game Boy Color. Okay.
Yeah, I used the GBA one, or GBC. Yeah, so I had that. I had the mini medals.
Okay.
Sweet.
I
And the
was able to
tactics
look in
system?
Drawers.
And then day and
I don't
night?
recall that.
Okay.
Day and night, yeah.
Okay. Was
Yeah,
you
I
about
don't
to say,
remember the
Greg?
tactics, though, from
No.
3.
All right. So yeah, I think that's pretty much
The House of Healing.
House of Healing.
Yes, because in the original NES versions, 1 through 3, you had to go talk to the king.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
yeah.
but see, that's another aspect we
Oh,
get
right.
spoiled with on our newer mobile versions, is that this is the first one that introduced the priests for you to heal at.
Yeah, the priests that allow you to do pretty much everything, including resurrecting your characters.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And
Literally.
back to the original Dragon Warrior, programmers allowed users to open a door using a command appearing on the top level of the menu, and all you needed to do was have one of the party members have one of those respective keys.
Yeah.
So you did not have to do...
You just walk into it and it opens for you.
Yeah, instead of
like
some of
that
the
a lot.
issues that
Yep.
happened in the other games.
The inventory was
So-
just like 3, 2, so
Yeah.
there was no problem.
The better inventory.
Space.
Yeah, and then you have the bag that holds stuff. It's great.
Yeah, the infinite bag.
The
Yes.
bag of infinity.
Which you can break.
You can break.
Well, I mean, in regards to all the items we were...
Oh, okay. I was
Able
like,
to put
what?
into it.
Okay.
What,
Yeah.
what did you do?
I broke it in a negative way.
You can use it to your advantage.
But
you
you
tore
wanna
a
go
hole in
into
it so it can't hold infinite things anymore.
Yeah.
the version
It's a
differences.
glitch.
But yeah, as we
Gets
discussed
like a patch
before,
job on it.
we got the prologue and the 6th chapter with the bonus dungeon and the alternate ending and all the new tactics and stuff to add to your party. The PlayStation version uses the graphics engine from Dragon Quest VII. But it never came here. It was originally planned to bring the remake to here, but in 2002, Heartbeat closed its video game development operations. And I noticed this, if you look on the back of the booklet of Dragon Quest VII, you could see that they're advertising Dragon Quest IV coming here.
Oh,
On
yeah,
it.
I think I have noticed that.
So it ended up not happening, so
That
it's false
hurts.
advertisement
That's
again.
too bad.
So, but apparently ended up using the same engine anyway on the DS version. So it's kind of like it just got delayed for 4 or 5 years, and they just said, "Hey, let's slap it onto the DS." So
And make it look slightly less than it would have.
On PS1.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Did you guys have any frame rate drops?
Oh yeah, in
Occasionally. Yeah.
Riverton
Yeah.
frame rate dropped me.
Yeah.
Which I thought would be impossible for as low graphical fidelity that a DS game has, but
Surprise.
somehow there's lag.
Well, I had the fucking port of the DS version to my phone, and I expected slightly better stuff, but no.
So
No,
I-
there is still frame rate drop.
I used the DS and the 3DS to play this game just to see what the differences were.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And the frame rate was way better in the 3DS one.
Oh, so I
Oh,
lucked
the
out.
D-
Okay,
the
I played on
DS
my
was
3DS. All
A
right.
lot rougher in certain areas where the 3D models were prevalent.
There has been other media, like a manga. A 5-volume manga called Dragon Quest Princess Alina was released. It followed the story of Chapter 2, Alina's adventure, but begins to divert during the events in the Birdsong Tower. after getting the
So it
nectar.
changes after getting the nectar?
Yeah, from this point forward, it introduces several new characters, including the evil leather dominatrix woman and new locations. I want to read this.
Yeah, why the fuck was she not in chapter
Including
6?
an Arctic location and a haunted house. The story ends with Alina fighting Sorrow and defeating him before he goes on with the bracelet to perfect the secret of evolution.
So she beats the bad guy before everybody else can have a chance.
Yeah,
She's the true hero.
the true hero to save us all.
The truest hero.
So there is also a sequel, as we said, Tornico.
Also
was
known as
popular
Talon.
enough- Yes, popular enough to star in his own series, as well he should have, in which he finds himself in quests in order to expand his store. These games are the Tornico no Dabuken subseries, translated as Tornico's Great Adventure. But, of course, it's not called that. It's called The Last Hope, for some reason, which is roguelike and random dungeon games produced by Enix and developed by Chunsoft. The success of the games later inspired the creation of the Mystery Dungeon series.
Pokemon.
Now, there's been a couple Tornico games. I believe there's 3. 1 and 3 never came here. I believe there's one for Yangus, which is, Dragon Quest VIII that didn't come here. And UFF will be playing this said series because that's exactly what Chocobo's Dungeon is.
Didn't they drop that? I feel like they dropped it.
At this
Of course,
point, I don't know.
Schweiss leaves.
But yeah, the Chocobo
When that
Dungeon
question
games
comes up.
We don't know.
are essentially the
They
same
may or may
things.
not be playing it, but yeah.
So yeah, it's essentially either one's the sprite of the Chocobo or one's the sprite of Tornico.
You know what this
It's
means?
all the same in this
This means
sub-series.
that Final Fantasy,
And Dragon
Dragon
Quest are
Quest, and
connected.
Pokemon are all connected.
Yes, they all have the lineage to one.
that
How
makes a lot of sense.
and it's all
actually.
connected through Dragon Quest,
But Pokemon's for
which
little kids,
spawned
so we don't
both of those
discuss
game
that.
series. Dragon Quest spawned both of those game series
It
and is
did.
connected to it through its own thing, through its own side thing.
I actually don't think that about Pokemon, though.
What? That
I
is
was throwing some shade at some members of the network.
Wait, what did
So
you say?
the
I said that
soundtrack.
Pokemon is for kids, so
No,
we just
fuck
just
you. No,
ignore
it's
it.
not.
To each their own. Soundtrack.
The TV show is, not the games.
I'll agree with that.
What do you think of the soundtrack?
Soundtrack is great.
It's my favorite one. The battle theme is sweet.
I can barely remember them because it was 2 months ago that I played it. But I
That
do.
last fight music didn't, as it's like sounding creepy as shit as
Yeah,
it's building
yeah,
up.
that
That
was-
sticks with you.
yeah, that was fucking sweet.
They ended up doing a symphony version. There's a symphony soundtrack of it out there, and I immediately listened to it after I beat the game.
I
it
really
is
like a lot of the
great.
Dragon Quest music. I mean, it's not.
There isn't
None
one
of it-
theme out there that's the S-Star theme that makes you want to blow your
Yeah,
brains
there's
out.
nothing in there that is fucking horrid.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
The problem
Nothing
I
in the
have though
soundtrack
is
that's
that I
horrid.
can't remember anything, and like I
Yeah,
just beat
that-
You
the
you
game
do not
yesterday,
affiliate
or
one
today.
theme music besides battle theme to a specific town or location. You don't go, oh, that's the place that I was going for Besaid. That's its theme. Or in this case, like Canuck. You don't remember, oh, that music from Canuck. You don't do that. That is its downfall.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite on Final Fantasy level in that regard.
I kind of.
but
There's a lot of the stuff that, like, Final Fantasy soundtrack in a way is kind of distracting because of that.
Yeah,
Because it's
I can see
like
that.
a lot of because it's either got really good songs or really bad songs.
Yeah,
And Dragon Quest doesn't. It doesn't.
I just feel like
It's perfect.
they're just like middle ground though.
Like
I
I don't know.
usually-
Like the overworld theme is pretty great because it's
I-
basically just like the standing theme for Dragon Quest, which I really enjoy. They just basically reuse a lot of the same songs.
I just find myself like turning the volume down on most of the Dragon Quest games.
After a while, you turn down the sound for most games. Really,
ones that are
there's a lot of
repetitive,
games that I really just
grinding
turn
nature.
off the sound from the start because
Really?
like it annoys me
It
instantly.
really depends on the game. But
Yeah.
I think this is one that like you don't really need the volume on.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a decent soundtrack,
but you want to turn it on for like the big moments, like for the final
Yeah, the
fights
final
and,
boss, I turned it on.
yeah, like those are the moments that you actually want to have the music on for, because it's like, oh yeah, this is the build up right here.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say respectively versus the other three in the series, since they have started to build further and further, that by default, 4 is the best one to me so far.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But something interesting I found is in the NES games, it actually features a crescendo during the battle music and gradually increases in volume from soft to loud. However, we didn't get that, so we didn't end up hearing it.
Damn.
So, yep. So, design.
All right, so this is probably the thing that we have a few things to discuss about. I don't know if you guys remember too much of the designs, Dylan. I'm sure you do because you literally just beat the game.
Of course.
But the final boss has a cod piece, which is great. You know, you start the final battle, and he's pretty intimidating. You know, he stands up. He's got 2 giant swords and the helmet and everything. And then you look at him, and then you notice something weird about him because he's got right where his fucking dick would be. He's literally got the the biggest thing just blocking where his dick is. Like, it's right where it would be.
Yep.
Like, it's not, because like in later forms, it like everything kind of shifts around, so it's not like as obvious. It feels like it's just like a piece of armor or anything. But because of the way that like it's drawn on this model, like it literally looks like his fucking dick, not only as like a penis, but as like a cod piece. Like, it's protecting him. It's protecting his dick, and it's fucking weird because like the entire time I was facing this guy, I could not look away. I mean, okay, I'm gonna show you, Dylan. I'm gonna show you again. Look at that thing.
It's funny because he shows me this now, and I didn't even notice it when I was playing it.
Because he's all like spread eagle too. Like, his legs are as far apart as he can get while he's like crouched. So it's just there.
Yeah.
You just see it. Like, it's just hanging there.
It's all I see now.
Yeah, and it's like you can't look away from it because it's like that's the only thing about him now.
Yeah.
It's not that he has 2 giant swords or 3 eyes and awesome horns, and he's like got a pretty awesome design, honestly. It's that he has a fucking dick thing. Just it's fucking weird.
And what I'm noticing about this is I'm getting flashbacks of a lot of what was that creature's name? It's a lot of it reminds me of Lavos of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it correctly.
Well, it makes sense.
But yeah, you cannot mistake. I know that's supposed to be like the backside, maybe even implying a tail. But dude, that is a big fucking dong.
That is a front piece. That is a front piece for his dick.
And that is
Like,
a pretty weird chode looking dick because as you go towards the tip, it becomes smaller and less thick.
It's also
so
ridged.
the further she goes down on the shaft, it's thicker.
It's literally ridged too. It's like it's
ribbed for her pleasure.
Yeah, it's ribbed for her pleasure, dude. Okay, so this design also kind of looks like some of the Dylan, you've seen Dragon Ball Z. Like, you remember the Ginyu Force?
Yep.
You remember the Saiyan armor that they all have, where like they have the things coming out of the sides.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them have like the front piece a little bit. Like, this is just front piece.
Yeah,
There's
this is
no
next level.
side armor thing. This is front piece, like hanging down. It hangs past his knees.
It does.
And he's like crouched, and he's just like spread eagle. He's like, it's almost as if he could just go power stancing. You know, he could just do it. He could just whack off right there, and you would have no chance of surviving it. It's there.
Attack.
It's there.
Power stance is in like mid squat. He's able to.
Mid squat, and he's just going for it. Like, that's the power stance.
That's a lot of fucking squats, man.
You guys are gonna have to look at this picture.
Yeah, and okay, it's Sorrow the Manslayer. Like, just look up.
Oh, he's definitely
It's-
the manslayer.
It's the gold form with the 2 swords. All right, that's the form that I'm talking about. It's the first form, the one that you encounter first, and it is distracting, to be honest. And like as he moves on to,
We
his
all know
other
what Greg
forms-
looks at first here.
Well, no, it's just fucking weird because it's like he's literally spread eagle, and it's like, yeah, he's got 2 swords. It's cool. And then you look at the rest of the design, and then it's like, that's the only thing you can look at now. Like, that's the only thing. And I was like, what the fuck?
And now I cannot look at
can't-
the guy
you
and see
can't
it.
not look at it. But then you look at his other forms, and then it's not as bad. Like, he's still got the fucking codpiece, but he's got like 2 faces now.
It's like,
like-
thicker now.
Like 5 eyes, yeah, and he's got like spikes and shit
Stubbier.
in the final form, so you don't notice the codpiece as much.
Nope.
But like in the first form, when he's got the 2 swords and it's just, it's the focal point. Like, that's what you're looking at, especially when he's like moving around and shit, and he like stomps his foot and all. Like it's impossible not to look at it. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's difficult to see past that now. Now that it's been pointed out to me.
As far as like the other designs, I love the designs of this game. It has way more than the other ones.
Yeah.
The monsters move around now, which is fucking sweet. So you can see all their like separate attacks and whatever they're doing.
Yeah, for our versions, this animations on the sprites.
Yeah,
were great.
and there's a lot of diversity in the sprites, except for the occasional reuse of a couple of them.
That's like a series staple at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's a serious staple, but it is for like everything. I mean, look at fucking Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
Newer Final Fantasy game. There's probably like 20 monsters in that game. 20.
That's disappointing.
If you did you not play?
I didn't play 13 that far.
Okay, Jake, you
Yes,
played 13.
they're reskinned like crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you can tell. Like there's some that like it's not
Even the
just
robots have
it's-
just different colors
it's not-
between gold.
some
and,
of them are just recolors, but then some of them are just like slight changes in like the facial
This one has a
features.
crown.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my
they'll
gosh.
add like little bits to it, but it's the exact same thing.
I don't like that, but I understand in Dragon Quest why they do it.
I can understand for like older games
But
too.
13?
But yeah,
Come
it's a newer
on.
game. Like, well, not really a newer game.
I
It's
already
still better,
don't
but,
like the game, but that's like fuel to
like
the fire.
yeah, it's like it's a big fucking graphical thing for the PS3, and it's like, hey, let's just reuse like 20 monsters.
Yeah.
If it's even 20 monsters, to be honest. Like
That's,
that's generous guessing. But like you get to Grand Pulse, you fucking see it. Fucking see it.
That's poor design, I would say.
Yeah, dude, it's
I
bad.
would definitely
but,
knock
yeah,
it for that.
But for this, I don't really mind it as much, although it's kind of weird to me that some of the final boss monsters, like the big monsters, share a similar design.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like the Dark Souls reskins. Like there's one boss that they use 3 times. And I
Ooh,
kind of get that vibe from these final bosses.
yeah.
And it's kind of disappointing, but they still look pretty decent. Like the design is cool.
Oh yeah, the design is cool. I mean, like for this guy, for the final boss of this one, he's basically like he looks to me like another Dragon Ball Z reference here, but
Of course,
like
that has to
like
be.
Frieza form level 3, and then like that Yakon from the Buu saga.
Okay.
The green creature that absorbs the energy. Yeah, it's like
Yep.
if both of those two were just like fucked, that would be their baby.
Yeah, you can totally see that influence.
Yeah. If, like if you look up who I'm talking about, and then you look at the design for Sorrow in his like final form, then you could see it. Yeah, I really like his designs a lot.
Yeah.
And it is a little disappointing to me though that they do tend to reuse stuff, but it's
Yeah, I
not
agree.
a big deal
Yeah.
in this one. It's not as bad as it was in 2. Like
It was
at all.
ridiculous in 2.
In 2, it was like every single enemy was the same, but
Right.
like in this one, it's more varied, like a lot more. But like it's a little disappointing that the big bosses have if not the same design, just like recolored, than a very similar one.
Yeah. I feel like this game had way more bosses too. So that could be it too.
It did have a few more bosses, but I'm kind of feeling like that's because of like the multiple chapters thing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like you want to have multiple bosses for it. But,
Yeah,
I
I
liked
think
it.
it's
I like that.
the trade-off of the bosses being within the chapters as opposed to each and every single cave that you get for each single item or orb that you did in Dragon Quest 3.
yeah.
So I'm not
This
sure,
one,
but I think there's the same amount of mini bosses.
this one's
throughout both
also
of them.
longer and more girthy than 3, with the amount of stuff to do. I would say.
Oh yeah, post-game stuff. Yes,
Well, not only
And
post game
the-
stuff, but just stuff throughout the game.
Yeah. Like you can eventually recruit Hank Hoffman into bringing back the village that has been deserted and turn it into his own.
Yeah, yeah.
You do the town building thing again.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
gotta
not-
love the
so
town building.
That's not
Yeah,
just like
but I had to get it done. I mean,
just grinding like super bosses at the end of 3 so you can defeat them, like because they're really overpowered.
I didn't have that trouble, but
How far did you get?
I did the Sky Dragon. Right? I
Okay.
believe it was the Sky Dragon.
Did you get to the ice one?
Ice one is not in
Oh, okay.
mobile. That
Okay.
was Game Boy Color only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense then.
But I did that. You can keep fighting the Sky Dragon though. So I beat him once, but every single time you got to do it quicker.
Yeah,
Like you got to do 30 turns and then 20 turns, and that's a ridiculous amount of grinding. I didn't do that. But in 4, I ended up doing all the town building stuff because I just wanted to kind of like get everything done. And yes, to go along with the awesome names, in there is this guy who's named Rocky, and he is with his wife who is inside of their place.
Adrian.
And what is the name? Adrian.
Yeah,
That's an awesome reference.
this fucking game, dude.
I don't mind like the pop culture references.
I don't either. It's just like it's everywhere in this game. Like it's not like subtle in any way. It's there. Like you have to talk to these people.
Yeah.
Like there's no like
Oh,
you just
no.
discover that and it's cool. Like the little thing in like Final Fantasy on the Game Boy. I can't remember which one, but you
Yeah.
like go and find the headstone that says "Here lies Link." It's not subtle
They're
like
not
that.
Easter
It's-
eggs.
It's not. Yeah, it's not an Easter egg. It's like you will now talk to this person that is a clear reference to another thing, or is a pun. You have to talk to those people.
I don't mind. I like it.
I like it too.
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, the humor is one of the greatest things I love about Dragon Quest, but like still,
Yeah, 4
it's like,
is by far the
it's-
funniest so
it's
far.
just there though. It's like,
It's funny
no,
because
fuck it.
I was watching South
there's-
Park while I was playing through this, and I got to the part with tomfoolery, and there was an episode in South Park with a character named Tomfoolery.
Yeah,
It
okay, I
was
know what
so
episode. Yep.
funny.
It was
And South Park does it too. Like they have the pun people. I mean, like the black character is literally named Token Black.
yes.
Yeah.
Like
It's obvious and it's
yeah,
great.
It's
And then,
obvious and it's great, but it's like
Tweaks. Yeah.
And then
Tally.
I
He's
got
just
to the
a towel.
last dungeon, and I was watching the episode of South Park with like Satan and
Which
and,
one?
The first one.
Okay.
The first time you meet the Satan character,
Right.
and like then he goes to heaven.
Yeah.
he talks to
He
God.
talks to God.
Yeah. I was wondering what he
Uh,
should do about his relationship or
yep.
whatever. Yeah, I remember that.
It was ironic, but it was hilarious. The timing couldn't have been better with that
Because
episode.
you also went to heaven to talk
I
to
did.
God. Yep.
Yep.
I did. The God Dragon.
So, how many mini medals did everybody get?
I don't remember the
I didn't
exact
bother.
number.
I don't remember the exact number, but I got quite a lot. I was at like the 60s. They were obvious as hell in this one.
Yeah, they were. They had a
So
lot.
those a lot
Well,
better, and I utilized.
They do that a lot. Like in 3 had a lot of really obvious ones too. Like
Yeah.
if there was something that you could clearly mess with, it was like pretty obvious that a medal was going to be there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same for this one too.
I just didn't care about them that much, really. Like you can get some cool stuff,
Fair point. It's, yeah.
but I don't know.
I liked how often I could find
help
like
me.
the seeds of strength and whatever just strewn
those
throughout
were
the
more
game.
helpful.
Like the very beginning of the game with like both the hero and Ragnar, I found like what it was like 6 of the seeds just
Wow.
like to permanently upgrade your stuff. I was like, oh, it's fucking nice.
I
They
feel
are
like
And then I
your
never
seeds
played those
to
characters
salvation.
again.
I feel like the dungeons had a lot more treasure chests too to help you out that were filled with like decent equipment and seeds.
Yeah, they were.
I feel like
I
you
don't
came across
recall
some more.
there being any trick treasure chests.
There were.
There was? Okay.
Yeah, near the end of the game there were a couple.
Okay.
They weren't
Give
that
you
difficult.
a special belt that makes it so you can't save.
Cursed
No,
weaponry.
there was a cursed weapon though
It was
in the statue.
Ragnar's.
It was Gila's hammer.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, which is an important item in builders.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Fucking builders.
That game ties in a lot. I'm realizing now as we play through like the main series games. Like Borea was a main character in Builders.
Yeah.
Like the zombie one, the zombie chapter.
Yeah, third chapter.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like
It is one gigantic callback.
it does a better job of explaining like who he is as a person in that game than it does in his chapter in 2.
Well, yeah, he's not the focus of that chapter, though.
No, but they don't really give too much description of him. Just like he's a mentor.
Yeah, that's true. Kiri will just get more than he does.
Yeah. Which is kind of a shame. I think that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. The
To
old
turn him
man
into a
characters
bigger
never really
yeah.
get too much love, though.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like there's only so much you can do with him. And it makes
Oh, there's a
sense.
huge, like, 50 years backstory you could put to him.
Yeah, but
50
it's
years
tying it
leading
in.
up to the moment
It's
where he's
tying
just a
it in.
babysitter for
hard.
like a spoiled princess.
Oh, yeah, I want to see how that ends up. He has all these great adventures, and then he gets demoted.
Yeah, I
to
kind of
being-
wish he had his own chapter.
It's like a rags to riches, back to rags story.
Now I'm the teacher of this bitch who constantly escapes. So I have to go chasing after her. Doesn't she realize I'm like 80?
And she
Yeah.
damages property too.
Yeah, she's
Like,
like,
they have to
constantly
There is
breaking
some
the
unrealistic
castle.
aspects, right? Like he's able to keep walking at his age, and Tornico, despite maybe him not being the slimmest man in the world, is able to just run
Dude,
and
that
go
man is
wherever
a
the-
fucking circle.
he is.
I think it's funny too, like Elena, they're repairing the wall in her room, so it's kind of implied that she's tried to escape that way before.
Yeah, and they just don't
she
care.
has-
They're just,
And they just keep repairing.
I will
it.
rebuild the wall, but illegals will still hop over it again.
And then at the end of the game, it bothered me too because she's like, when you're dropping her off, she's laying in her bed.
Yeah,
there's
and
a
somebody-
dude in there working.
Yeah, he's like fixing the hole, like so she can't escape again.
Pardon me, ma'am.
I was
I'm the
like-
repairman.
Like
I mean,
she
in
couldn't
a-
send him out. Like come back at a
In
later
a way,
time.
No.
in a way, it makes sense.
That's a
though,
contracted
because, like,
job. He has to finish.
It's because she doesn't need the hole anymore because her dad is like more trusting, you
Yeah.
know, in a way it makes sense. But her
then, well,
just laying on the bed with it like some guy working on it is
Yeah.
a weird way to like,
This is why she's a spoiled brat.
yeah.
What?
It's
No,
like,
the hole has
she-
to be repaired. Otherwise, the room is
she
going to get a
just-
draft.
She
yeah,
just
but
wants
she
to
keeps
watch
kicking
him
down
work.
the wall.
She
Okay.
just wants to watch him work.
No, she just
I'm a
disregards
repairman.
Well, she is just laying.
You're
there.
beneath me, so I'm just gonna lay here and
I don't know.
Do your thing.
I don't know why she couldn't just be laying there or like talking to her dad as you like can see her room with like the wardrobe pushed in front of the hole
Yeah.
again. Like
that makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Maybe it's just that the NPC sprite is still there because it seems like all the cutscenes that are occurring, there's still people walking around while it's occurring.
but he's not
It's
there
not like
before.
it's fixed. What?
It's just it's always
I
open.
think that what you guys are implying is not really there. I think it's just that an NPC is in the background and he's just walking around doing
No,
his
dude,
I think it's
no.
weird because he's not
It's-
there before.
they placed that person there
Yeah.
to be working on the hole. That is what
Okay.
that person.
Because
is
like if
there
you
for.
return to the castle,
Oh, he's going to be working on the hole.
Oh, he is.
if you
Don't
return
you
to
worry.
the castle, you can still
Actually,
jump
I think
out
it's a
there.
chick.
Okay,
To
yeah.
be honest, I think it's like her handmaiden.
No, it was a
And?
dude.
Was it a dude?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought it was like.
No, either way.
It's just
I
a
do-
weird observation.
I just remember that part. Like it's
Okay.
whatever. All right. Last thoughts on the game, gentlemen.
There's the reception of this game.
Yeah. Also, we gotta rank the games.
Yes, and final thoughts.
All right. So basically, the reception for the game, since I'm the only one who apparently hasn't pulled up, was Dragon Quest IV was awarded the Best Game Grand Prize and Best RPG Game and the Best Seller Award in Famitsu's 1990 awards.
Which, yeah, how the fuck is that award? Like we're gonna give you an award because you sold the most copies.
Well, what was it up against too? Like
I have
Well,
no idea.
1990,
stiff
like
competition.
1990. I can't imagine there'd be much. Like, what Final Fantasies came out around then? Like in that year specifically, maybe.
4 came out like right after, like in
So
91,
two?
I think. 91 or 92.
I don't.
Okay, and the best challenge and second best overall game in 1993 by Nintendo Power. 1993, is that when it came out on like PlayStation?
No, the U.S.
It would have been the
Oh, it was
NES.
3 years later for the US?
Yeah, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
always taken a long time to translate.
I know it's
these.
always taken. Okay, but 3 years really
Yeah.
feels excessive.
It is.
In August 2008, Nintendo Power ranked Dragon Quest IV in the 18th best Nintendo Entertainment System video game, describing it as the peak of the NES's Dragon Quest series and praising it for its innovative 5-act story that made it one of their favorite old-school type role-playing games. And readers of Famitsu voted the game to be the 14th best game of all time in 2006.
Wow. I wouldn't even think it's like the 14th best RPG that I've ever played.
Really?
It's good.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
really-
do not have a definitive list currently in my head, so I
don't
can't.
either.
I don't either.
comment.
I really
Yeah.
can't place any
But
solid kind of list for
To
best
say
video
14 of all
games.
time by 2006 of all games of all time, I
There's
would
a lot
have
of
to
good
disagree.
games out at that point.
It's
I don't
so
know.
all in
It's
all, this is a
Famitsu,
great
too.
game, and we got to do rankings. How are we going to rank these? All of us have agreed with everything so far. It has been 3, 1, and 2.
4, 3, 1, and 2, guys. 4, 3, 1, and 2.
I'm
Dylan.
gonna have to agree.
Yes, it's not even
Jake-
close
Jake?
to me.
Okay.
I can't even put up any
And then
argument otherwise.
builders would be like below 1.
below 1, but I don't think it needs to count to the rankings because
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. But for overall,
Okay.
It's
overall,
above 2.
Yeah, it's above 2. But Dragon Quest
Hopefully
1 is
that
still
trend
awesome
continues.
and it's better.
Yeah.
I
Every
do.
aspect of 4 is
In some ways, I am excited for Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah.
If they
I am
fix
too.
the things that
If
we
they
had problems with, because then it'll be a great game. It'll be
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely switch
Especially
the
if
direction.
they keep those
of-
those sweet boss battles.
Oh yeah, very
Yeah.
innovative stuff.
Literally the best part of the game, underutilized.
Yes. Yeah. As
Hopefully
long
it's
as
the focus of the next game is just the boss battles.
Yeah, boss rush mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? It's awesome.
Quickly build a town and then defend it.
yeah, they got to fix the turning mechanic.
Well, they
Like
could just make the
being able
chapters
to
shorter.
turn
true.
around your blueprints and the items within it. That
Yeah.
that breaks me. I hated doing that.
Dude, that's why I told you, he's like, do not play that in a rush. Do not do it.
And I did.
And that's why I told
Too.
Dylan too. I was like, do not just play games.
I was
between
borrowing
each
Dylan's
chapter.
PS4. I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to be rude, Craig.
I know, dude, but I'm like, you're gonna wanna pace yourself.
But
'Cause-
the longer I played it, the less of a problem I had because I enjoyed chapters 3 and 4 more than 1 and 2 because they were simpler to me to get done. And they focus
They-
less on building the town and trying to just get
that's true.
thing
The
done.
3 had more of a story that it wanted you to just complete,
Mhm.
and then so did 4. 4 just wanted you to be like done.
Yeah.
So I can
So
understand.
you've
why you
suffered
like
long
those
enough.
two.
We're just gonna reach you.
Although
to the
chapter
end.
2 had a pretty great chapter.
It was.
story
I'm just
was
saying,
good.
it's 1 and 2 is like I'd say about 70% of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it was a pretty hefty grind for those first 3 chapters.
If all the chapters were like 4, I think it would have been a better game
Right.
overall.
So hopefully we do get news of a release date here in the United States of Builders 2. I don't think even a release date for Japan has been announced yet. So
it has been announced that it's coming out, so I'm
Oh,
sure that
yes.
it'll be here.
Yeah.
eventually,
They've
I'll look
released
forward
a
to
lot of the newer ones, at least, for the Dragon Quest series. I mean, we got like Heroes 2.
they've done
11's coming out soon.
Yeah, that's the thing we
Uh,
don't know though. Like it's been out in Japan for a while, but we haven't heard anything
I-
about the release date here.
We could discuss what we
That's-
expect out of 11. What do we expect?
Release date wise, or
Release date wise,
gameplay
and
or
why the delay so far?
Probably translation.
Yes.
yeah, that seems to be-
Localization is probably the biggest reason Dragon Quest isn't super popular over here, so they're taking their time with it instead of trying to rush it.
Yeah,
I think it
I don't know
needs to
about
have
that though, because
voices.
Builders is getting another version, so
What,
there
there
must
must getting
be-
another version.
it's coming to the Switch.
Oh well,
so it wouldn't
yeah,
make much sense for them to do that if it's not going to make money. So I feel like it's appealing at least to a niche group.
There's definitely a niche
Uh,
group, and
yeah,
I believe that
there's a
Nintendo
small-
will be able to get its core audience into
Okay,
Dragon Quest
okay. Now
Builders.
that we're talking about the Switch, why the fuck does why are they still doing Dragon Quest 11 for the 3DS? Why would they do that when they could just put it on the Switch?
Well,
Why? Why, for God's sake, why?
I think the
They
reason,
had to
Because
remake the entire game for 3DS, a system that is now dying because they made another system that is a mobile platform in a way, and that's how they're marketing it.
yeah.
They're like, it's not going to replace the 3DS, but it
it
totally is.
It is.
And I just fucking want to know why. Why
Because
would they spend
at
the
least-
time to fucking remake the entire game just to put it on the 3DS?
I have the answer. And it's because not everybody has a Switch, and
So it's putting
the 3DS is a gigantic seller in Japan.
and
Yeah, but it's still kind of dying now with the Switch being
It's
out.
not though, because they're still supporting it.
we
And they're
probably got
committed to
another
that.
year or two of the
Yeah,
3DS.
but it's getting old, man.
It is.
It's getting old, and it's that they haven't announced a new platform of any kind for the mobile stuff.
And they're not going to, I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think it's just going to be the Switch, which is why I'm like,
Because I think they
Why?
put enough resources into development for the other one that they figured, let's just go through with it.
yeah, but
And the
that's
benefit
two
of doing it
different
on the
versions
Switch-
of the same fucking game. Two different versions.
But they were
Yeah.
already
Of the
doing two
same
different
game.
versions. The only difference is they're allowing the Switch to get the stuff that the PS4 would have and be able to run it. Because if not, then we would just
No.
have the 3DS stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why they're making a 3DS version at all.
Right. They should cancel the 3DS version.
That's what I mean. Like,
Because
why
from
are
what
they
I'm
doing
seeing,
it?
but
It's
wait,
like-
no, I'm trying to think. There's three different. I'm
There's
forgetting about this.
PS4 too.
There's three different versions too. I'm making that mistake. There is a 3D looking one like Dragon Quest 9. That's what they're doing for 3DS. The actual
Well, yeah,
2D
that's-
sprites and the high graphic PS4 ones are doing that. So, if anything, you got to blame them for making a Switch version when they have already made the 3DS version being the way that it is. I honestly have no idea. We should ask them and see if they
It just-
respond
it
because
just-
it is bizarre, but the console still has life in it, and a lot of people would still rather pay $40, $50 to pay for that game instead of having to invest $250 into a Switch in order to play the new
300.
300 into a new Switch for that reason. And it's because of that a lot of games that are still coming out now come out on PS3. Didn't Persona 5 come out on PS3?
Yeah, it did.
So I understand.
But it's also a game that doesn't require them to significantly downgrade it to be on the PS3.
Wasn't it built
like-
for PS3 and then they just
Basically, yeah. And then fucking like, so it just makes no sense to build a game and then build it again for no reason.
I don't know.
Because like, I mean, your overall purchases are going to be way less for the 3DS than for a version that's on a console.
It kind of reminds me of the latest Smash Bros. Like the 3DS one is not nearly as good as the Wii U one.
No, it's not. And the internet part of it is going to be way worse.
So, like,
so
why-
obviously the appeal for it is going to be a lot less.
Yeah, why buy it? And I feel like that's why it's been delayed a lot longer than Japan.
It's because of the 3DS
It's
version.
because they're translating all the
damn it.
versions.
Well, I imagine they would be saying the same things.
But
Just like, oh, it's
They
just
haven't
like the Final
announced-
Fantasy 15 thing. They're remaking the game to be on the phone. And not as like an obvious way of doing it as like in sprites, but in fucking chibi form and specifically for the phone so that you just tap it.
yeah,
Like,
that is
what
weird.
the
But to get on to the other point, they still haven't finished the Switch version over in Japan. So I don't think that's what's delaying the American version. I think they're doing what I would want them to do, like I have experience with Aid, and get top of the line voice work. Done.
That would be great if they did
I
that.
would like that a lot.
get
so I
get
hope-
Yangus back.
In some form,
Fucking
he could voice the main character. I
Yangus is
don't-
fucking sweet.
yeah.
Or get,
So it's definitely that needs to happen.
get Joe DiMaggio.
John
DiMaggio.
John
The
DiMaggio.
baseball
Joe
player,
DiMaggio.
huh?
Yeah, yeah, him
Yeah.
too.
Bender and Kamari and
No,
Waka.
I only needed to be Bender.
on the
Literally.
Bender. Yes, we will
Li-
replace
dude, like
Ken's
literally.
entire voice cast with Bender.
Jake the dog.
No, okay, so basically what I wanted to have happen was like I wanted to like message him and be like, "Hey, do you mind recording like all of Waka's lines again, but as Bender?" and then I'd have like some guy like go through
Bite my
and
shiny Auroch ass.
and then I'd have some guy go through and like replace like his character model with Bender,
Oh my god!
and then
So
and
there's a
then,
metal giant robot
mod.
throwing
So-
blitz balls underwater.
yes. So then I could
That would
just
be
have
funny.
then I could just have Bender in Final Fantasy X, and Final Fantasy X would be this much better.
Why stop there? Just replace the
Visual
whole
gag
cast
of-
with Futurama's cast.
Dude, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Fry as
I saw
Titus.
an artwork on DeviantArt of somebody morphing together Futurama's cast with Chrono Triggers.
Ah,
It
that's-
was It was sweet.
That's interesting.
I gotta find that again.
Yeah. We'll post that on
Oh,
the Facebook
man.
page. if
But
we can
11
find
needs
it.
to have voice acting, definitely.
I don't imagine that it wouldn't.
Well, because they
but yeah.
downgraded for 9, so
9
I'm
they made.
skeptical.
Okay, so for my theory for 9 is that they kind of stopped making it for the for consoles for a while, and since mobile platform in Japan is bigger and Dragon Quest is bigger there, they just made it for the DS, and then they just ported it over here because it was easy to do it.
That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that's why. But for Dragon Quest X, no fucking idea.
It's kinda
no
weird.
fucking idea.
It's kind of interesting that they didn't really put anything on PS3 for Dragon Quest. But they did on 1
It's-
and 2 and 4.
It's,
They skipped PS3.
It's kind of strange for that, yeah. It's also kind of weird to me that I saw commercials for like, or when I was younger, I saw commercials for like Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, but I
Really?
never saw commercials for anything that was main series
It's
Dragon
that,
Quest.
that Pokemon craze.
Yeah,
Is the
I
monsters
think it
trying to
was, yeah.
capitalize.
capturing?
Like that's like they brought it over. They brought those games over, but they're like, oh fuck the regular series though.
Yeah. That's
It kind
disappointing.
of hurts in a way.
Mhm.
Like if you really think about it, 'cause it's like I don't
They
know yet,
did
but I
do,
would say
uh,
the better part of the series.
Ads for Dragon Quest 9. I remember Seth Green from
Yeah, there was some for that, but the Monsters Joker stuff was
was
like,
way
before
more
that,
predominant.
and it was before that. So
Maybe
At
one or
least-
two of the
at
monster
at
series.
least I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Fairly sure.
So yes,
Who
the
knows?
official
Who knows?
rankings are 4, 3, 1, and 2.
Hopefully we'll switch it up a little bit with 5.
No,
Since they're all
if we all
I
agree,
kind
then
of
we all
doubt
agree.
it because
like-
5 is supposed to be like the best one,
Oh, really?
or like a extremely
I thought
good
8
one.
was the best one.
I personally believe that, but I haven't played all the Dragon Quest series.
Yep. Same boat.
But everything I've heard about 5 is it's supposed to be amazing, and it's the
Okay.
one that started the whole Pokemon idea of capturing monsters, basically. So
We may
that's-
basically be playing
At
a
least in its
early
more pure
Monsters title
form.
here.
Yeah, like adding monsters to your party, which is going to be
Yeah.
sweet because the monsters are one of my favorite parts of Dragon Quest.
Oh, we didn't discuss that you actually do get a monster in this one.
Well, Healy?
Yeah.
We talked about him
Not
a little
Healy,
bit.
like the dinosaur dude. When you're in Zenithia.
Oh yeah,
The
that
girl gives you,
nothing
like,
character that we never used. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Clearly, it's not till now that you remembered him. So.
Well, I remembered him. I just didn't bring him up.
Healy-
He's very minor.
Healy is
I don't-
clearly the better monster / character.
Yeah, but
And it's weird that he had a personality, to be honest. Like, if you think about it in a way, like they add just a random monster to your party and he actually has a personality, it's like, what?
there's like a random slime in chapter 4 too. When you go
Yeah.
in like the lab.
Yeah, you see him when you're like dropping off the
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
He's just chilling.
It's kind of odd.
Yep.
All right.
So it is
final
a
thoughts,
must-
guys.
Must play.
Must play.
Yeah, I
And
think
say DS.
I think it did for this series what Final Fantasy IV did for that series.
Where it really came into
That's
its
where
own.
it took off. Yeah, I think I'm seeing that parallel here.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's my final thoughts on it.
Yeah.
It's a great game. You guys should play it.
Definitely
Highly
one,
recommend it.
Definitely,
Definitely
one to
be the first
recommend,
one
yeah.
I would recommend to people to play into this series so far.
One would be the first.
I would say 4,
I would say 4,
and then 3,
and then 1.
and then 3.
One is so great.
Oh, it is. That's why I'll praise it as number 2
Dude,
here.
But I can't. I still cannot get over the ending of Dragon Quest 1 on the phone. Like, I like whatever else it's also on, but like, just him picking up the princess and then just fucking off.
The mobile experience is different from the console experience on that.
You should replay it
I should
on the
do
on
that.
the phone. Yeah, see how much better it is, and then we
It's
can talk
probably
about it.
significantly better.
Yeah, just do that, and then we can talk about it next time.
All right.
Yep.
I'll get back to you guys on that one.
So, what is the next game we will be reviewing? Are we going to go straight into Dragon Quest V?
I believe that is
Yeah.
the plan for
Yes.
now. Since we were talking about Patreon earlier, one of the things that we were discussing on doing was putting, unfortunately, some of the games behind a paywall, just because of
We've got
some cost issues.
that's the main reason.
Yeah, Taloon is like $60 basically.
$45.50.
45
For
around
a
that
loose
range.
copy.
Somewhere for a used copy, and we basically need 3 of them to get through it.
Or one, and you guys wait for like
we
2
just-
months for another
yeah,
episode.
we just plow through it really slowly.
That could be an
Um,
option, but it's not really a priority game, I would say.
Yeah, it's
That's the main
it's not a
series.
priority one. And then Caravan Heart is something that we'd have to find, pirate, and see if it has an English translation.
Oh, it has
It
an
does.
English translation.
Well, yeah, a fan
I-
translation, which maybe you can trust.
But the
who
problem with
knows?
that is that it would go on our main series gameplay too. So it would be us trying to find time to fit that in along with like the spin-off games and the main series games. And that's a lot of work.
I heard it's not nearly as long. So
It's a big time constraint for me anyway.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons
Yeah,
why.
and if we play another side game, maybe starting one of the monsters things, it'll be between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
yeah. So anything
So
else
5 is
about
next.
the Patreon?
it will
we're
be
gonna
up momentarily.
We're gonna
It's-
soon. It'll be up soonish. We're gonna talk about it some more. Maybe go over some other ideas, and then we'll bring it up and let you guys know as soon as possible. So
Episodes like this will stay free.
of course. So you can find me at Obsidian Bar.
On Twitter. You
On
can find
Twitter,
me
yes.
at Wandering Flame.
You can find me at DROM Media.
And soon, I think we're gonna make a Twitter account for the show. Probably just call it @PuffPuffHour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tweet us
So
there.
check that out.
Or any of us
Also,
individually.
Yeah, or check us out at on Facebook. It's just Puff Puff Hour.
Yeah, we've got discussions going there, so feel free to
It's-
join in.
We
It
named
is,
them off.
uh,
Hopefully nobody's pissed off by us saying their actual names. We apologize if that's the case.
The Facebook thing is honestly more used than the forums. Sadly, in some ways.
That's true, yeah.
We have forums
Facebook is
on
easier
Geekdom
to
Entertainment.
Yeah, geekdomentertainment.com. Just go to the forums. There's a section there for Puff Puff Hour that is sad because there's only like 4 posts on it. Also check out our other shows on the network, such as Nude Clan, my other show, and Ultimate Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast, which I am also occasionally on.
Godzilla podcast.
The Godzilla
One of these days I
podcast.
will actually watch a kaiju movie that isn't Pacific Rim. So
Have you never seen a Godzilla movie?
I have not. I have not seen a Godzilla movie.
Dude, not even Godzilla 2014?
That one's
No.
good. That was
That
an
one's fucking
entertaining movie.
sweet.
We
You
saw
should
that
fucking
in,
watch that.
we saw that in
Eventually I get
IMAX.
enough.
It was awesome.
It ain't easy being Hog.
I
Emperor
would
Craig.
make that your
So-
first Godzilla movie. To be
So I will
honest.
get to a lot of movies later. I just don't immediately see everything when
I
it
need to
comes
see
out. I
shit
take a long
Godzilla.
time.
I saw
But
the first one with
They
Joe
are
and
they are
Drew.
slowly going through each of the movies on there. For some reason, your niche is Godzilla and kaiju type movies. Then there's the Godzilla podcast that releases episodes when they can. Super Sexy will be resurrected.
It's dead.
It is not dead.
Fuck
It will
you.
be
It's
resurrected with my new co-host, Lycan of Light. It's just we are bringing out a few kinks, maybe a new theme song, maybe some new artwork.
Banging out some kinks.
Yes, banging out some kinks. His new plug line is officially Plug My Holes. So that's great.
Oh,
That's classy.
I made it up for him.
no, it sounds like you.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
And so that's on the network too. There's a huge backlog of over 100 episodes to listen to his transformation from Joe as a host to me replacing him as a host.
Well, yeah,
So
it, did-
it's-
it used to be part of UFF. So.
Yeah.
And that's where it
But
should
there
have
are a
died.
lot of diverse and awesome podcasts on Geekdom.
Yeah, we have a lot for all to enjoy.
Yes. So you guys should check out all those shows on there.
Yep.
And
Until next time, guys.
Quest on.
oh yeah, I am the one that's next. Keep it super and keep it questy.
Yeah, fuck you.
Eh.